Welcome to Opinionated with Resla.
What's good, everyone? What is good? Welcome to, of course, another episode of Opinionated with yours truly. I am your host, your communicator, your content creator, your favorite person to be around, Resla. Oh, hear me, got my freaking thing going off over here. And hopefully you guys are having a good day today. I have been rather busy today, but at the same time busy because I have been moving around today, trying to make sure that I have plans together for what we're going to be doing for literally the next quarter coming in, um, for the second quarter of the year. But also, I had just finished getting off of the platform of Blind, the Blizzy Blind Fury. He had a really good conversation going on. He and I were chopping up for a while. There's a whole lot of stuff that was going on. I really, yeah, yes, sir. Screw you for thinking otherwise. Absolutely, communicator. Sorry if you haven't quite caught up on that ruthless truth. Communicator. That's what I do for a living, sir. All right. Don't you forget it. Don't you forget it. Let me turn on because apparently I already see I'm sitting here in darkness. Computer, lights on. There we go. Do I like that? You know what? We're gonna sit with that for a while. You know what? No. What's today? Monday? Yeah, we're gonna sit with that for Monday. So we're gonna move from that. Anyway, hope you guys are actually doing pretty well today. I'm pretty okay, minus a little bit of a neck and sore ache because I had been moving furniture around, and until I recently got on Blind's stream, I had been moving furniture all over the place, so I'm a little tired. I'm trying to get a new setup for you, for everybody, for the new changeover for what's going on. So I've been looking as to how to rearrange the actual office space here because it's only but so much space that I have, and I'm a little aggravated because over here on this side you can't see way past that other side, but it looks like a hot mess. It's a hot mess. So I'm gonna be aggravated, and that's gonna be some work for me to go on for tomorrow. But outside of that, hopefully you guys are actually doing well today, and I was enjoying myself because I really had a really good conversation over on Blind's channel, and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Congrats to for those who don't know, congrats to Big. I'm not gonna say the other part of it, but Big because he got a bit of a promotion. So good job for him as well. Actually, I'm realizing that I might be a little bit low because my mixer is a little bit different from how I move from StreamYard. Hold on, and that should make me sound louder now. So not as clear, but louder. But I appreciate everybody who's actually been up here. So congratulations to Big for getting a little bit of your promotion. I actually enjoyed being out over on the Blizzy Blind channel for Blind, having a stream. I thought it was pretty good. Um, it was a good time. It was a good hangout time, especially for someone who had like not to work a whole bunch of stuff of dealing with other people. Today, it was nice to know that I can still bring a little bit of a professional aspect for a lot of people that's in here. So I do appreciate that. Sorry, I don't really have too much of a conversation today. Um what we would normally do on the opinionated channel, but I will do my best winging it since if you were here for my last conversation, if you were here for my last conversation yesterday, what you would understand is that there's a little bit of a change that's happening within my own personal life, which of course, yes, personal life means that it might or might not affect the channel, but I'm also looking at it as to how we can capitalize and make things better in terms of quality, not necessarily quantity when it comes to the channel. So before you even think about fuck you, Esther, I'm gonna unsubscribe. Just chill out, chill, relax. It may not be nearly as bad as you think it is. Um, but for the most part, I think that we will have something going on for the future. But before we get a little bit started into what my thoughts are and even what I might try to piece together as actual content. I want to, of course, thank everybody who already showed up for the stream, because you could have had a whole lot of things that you could have done. You could have been watching, I don't know, Love and Hip Hop, if they still do Love and Hip Hop. You could have been doing a whole bunch of different other stuff, but instead you chose your time to be here, and I appreciate you for that. So let me just get shit together. So I, of course, want to thank Dom, who walked up in the building, who turned around and says, "Oh, as usual, some great thoughts tonight, wrestler." I'm not sure what thoughts tonight because it's just my thoughts. We'll see where it goes from there. Peace Dynamo was in here as well. I appreciate you being in here as well. Who turned around and says, "Scared like you call the family meeting." It's not a family meeting, but at the same time, between yesterday and today, it is kind of like a what we should expect for the channel moving forward, and what we will be doing um, as what we can for the channel, because with time everything becomes changes as well. So whether it's for the good or for the bad, we'll know in due time. Steelman. The Steelman is actually in here with his own thing. Again, shout out to Big for being in here and actually being able to get his promotion. And just salute my G, Blizzy Blind Fury in here. Blind is in the building. Appreciate it. Miss Raven is in the building. So what's on the mind of Resla? We'll get into that in a little bit. Pimp Mama Jennifer. The idea that she's pimping. I don't know what way she's pimping, but she's pimping. Pimp Mama Jennifer is in the building. I do appreciate you here. Listen, the Alpha Turkey, Commander Alpha Turkey is in the building. I appreciate you being here as well. This is going on. Clay Foundations 1A. What's going on, Brick? Appreciate you being here. Yes, communicator once again, ruthless. Don't you fucking forget it. Absolutely. It is in the title. It is in the title the moment you hear what?
Welcome to Opinionated with Resla.
Exactly. All I do for a living, all I do as a regular part of real life and on internet life is to say I am here and this is my title. Host, content creator, and communicator, because that's what I do every day, all day. That's my thing. The beautiful and talented Snow is in the building. Happy that you're actually in here. Appreciate you. Cousin Lawrence is in the building. I appreciate you, cousin Lawrence. You in here, you make things better for everybody else that's in here as well. Absolutely. Let's is in here. Let's go. Let's OTTV is in here as well. And of course, my guy who already says, if you haven't already, folks, being here in the building, hit that like button, subscribe. It's free, bitches. It is free. Let's fucking go. My guy Locksmith Jeremy in the building. Blocksmith, I sent you a message on Discord. I haven't opened up my Discord on my desktop, so I don't know if you ever given me a response yet, but just be sure to check that out, my guy. With that being said, oh Lauren, where the hell you been at? You've been very quiet. I don't think I've seen you in the last few streams, but then again, I can't remember because I've been busy myself, so forgive me. But Lauren, thank you for being here in the building as well. I appreciate you actually showing up. So the talented and beautiful Lauren as well being here in the building. Let's get a little bit into I didn't really write a script, so I'm gonna really think about it in real time. You're gonna get the real off the cut. So I don't have any questions for myself to really dive into shit, but we'll go into it as we get along. First of all, I want to talk about what's on my mind. For those who were here yesterday. If you weren't, be sure to go back to yesterday's stream. I know it's about 6 hours or so, but the same way how I run the monologue, you'll get a good idea as to what's going on and what's going to be the future moving for the channel, especially for today. 'Cause today was a lot of furniture moving. You know what they say? I'm about to move some furniture. No, I wasn't fucking nobody up. But at the same time, there was a lot going on here in the office because I was trying to make space and move some things around because I'm trying to do a whole new layout for what I planned for the channel moving forward. The only thing I think is that I might need to put some things in storage. I need to move a couple of things around, and I might need a bit of a paint job. But we'll see for the future. So I've been waiting for a while because of those who were sitting in the lot on the last stream. You know that there has been a bit of a job opportunity that has popped up for your boy, and a lot of people who are very interested have taken shine to me. And there was a big conversation of whether I was going to take the opportunity versus um, let it slide. So we got a little bit of a confirmation today, folks. There are some things that are still on the up in the air, and that can be negotiated in real time. But as far as things go, folks, officially, your boy has gone back to working for a full time employer. I have accepted the offer officially as of today. I'm pretty sure well, not even pretty sure. They were very much excited. They reached out to me. We had a whole big online conference or anything. So I have accepted the position to the role working for that company. But before you say anything else, what does that mean for us? Which is the most important part. What does that mean for us? I understand that I am no longer, well, not no longer, because the same way how I've accepted the opportunity for one particular employer, I had to let the bad news be gone for another employer. And here's the truth of the matter for a lot of you guys who didn't know. For the most part, for the last 3 years or so, 3.5 years, I have been working um, on contract. I have been doing my thing, building up, working with different employers, NDAs, all that different shit. And not to say that this company that I'm working for right now does not have an NDA because it's very much on the you cannot talk about shit, not even to your lawyer to try to sue us type shit. There's a lot in there in the contract, but I'm one of those boring motherfuckers that I read all that stuff anyway. But for my last employer, for at least the beginning of this quarter was the first time that they were like, we're gonna pay you on the books because we don't really have anything that you're doing, but we will let you know that we are going to be phasing out a lot of different positions. That doesn't mean that it wasn't gonna hit me as well. So even over the last 2 months, what happened was that I was picking up more of a workload that belonged to other people who were no longer employed. So I knew that, at least for me, that my time might be up as well. So I had started reaching out to other employers. And now I ran into one. I thought they were very good. They met what I was looking for to an extent. I met what they were looking for probably to an extent. But officially, we finalized everything today. And as of today, I will officially be joining on to that particular business. But again, not that any of you guys care about that, even though I thank you if you do care that I keep my lights on. but but officially, I will be working for them soon if anything else. But what it means as well is that what is it? Rather, the question is, what is it going to be with the relationship going with you and I now? Oh, you said you care. You care. Appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that you care. Look, like, congratulations, fucker. Hey, hey. It's weird. It's weird right now because I've been working full time for a long time, and then the last 3.5 years or so, Uh, I had been working, eating what I kill, um, working, doing whatever I gotta do, writing down every freaking paycheck, making sure that I can claim whatever I can on taxes, plus businesses expenses, all the other stuff, in addition to doing YouTube and other content spaces. And now I'm going back to the world of being under somebody else's clock rather than my clock. And let me for those who do, because there are so many people who have so many different aspects in the world, I want to talk about something that's rather important because this is something, regardless of whether it's been full time or whether it has been contract. I can say that I appreciate both sides of the game. For those who have, sorry, it's my business phone going off. Okay, that's not bad. So, For people who worked on both sides of the game, right? Most of us have come to the fact we work for an employer, and therefore, regardless of how we feel about the job, regardless of how we are in the business itself, whether we are people who claim that we want the best for ourselves, the best for our families, the best um for our own growth and development, whether we are looking for insurance or whatever the case may be, it is what it is. It's not that you can't have those things being on your own, but the ideal of having a guaranteed, whether you put your best effort in or your least effort in, and still seeing a paycheck versus those who have no choice but to put their best foot forward every day, all day to receive what they are paid because they can easily get clipped. It's a different feeling. You also feel different. This is why people who work blue collar jobs feel different from people who work white collar jobs. I have worked both. I have worked production. I have worked in a bit of finance, kind of what I do as well. I have worked in tech. I have worked in security, and now I have a combination of security, um, finance, and asset management that I've cultivated over the last 10 years. It's a different thing, even when you take those particular skills and you do it from someone who is on a contract, keeping what you kill versus someone now that you get to contribute to a whole of the benefit of an industry. Most of us only understand the benefiting of going through an entire industry because they take care of you, so therefore the reason for you to want to be on your own. I have an appreciation for people who want to be on their own and have their own freedom. I do. But at the same time, there's nothing like there is nothing also like working for someone else and kind of being taken care of. Um there's nothing like that. But I don't know. I'm a little apprehensive because part of the thing that made me want to think about this particular juncture in my life was about, damn, in the 3 years or the year and a half that's gone by, I have been on my own. But you know what made me feel weird? With the free time, the additional free time I had was building the relationship that I have with you guys. You know, it's been something. It's been humbling. It's been inspiring. It has been a lot of things. Please, guys, before you try to take note of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, because it's very important. This is not a goodbye stream. Let's just let's put the fuck out of here. It's not a goodbye stream. Don't think people need to be teary eyed. This is my last day on YouTube. It's not. There's none of that shit. I'm just kind of going through my own. I think I'm gonna cry. You hear this bullshit? I am not going anywhere. God damn it! Stop it. I'm just going through my mind. These are just my thoughts. Um, yeah, just my thoughts. And I see an opportunity because I look at my life and I look at the internet, and I've always said the same thing. There was a time in the internet where we can look at the internet, we can see what it was, and then we can cut it off and go back to our. There's no buy. There's no buy. No violence. There's none of that shit. Um, but it means that people like here's the funny part, even though I worked rather remotely for some time, there are people who were like, oh, if you got all this time in your hand, you can't. You have obligations, you have real life, you have bills still, you know? And of course, the whole thing that a lot of people say is like, or rather, a lot of people that's in their mind is like, oh, if you're on online, you're in the internet, if you're a content creator, you make money. Boo fucking shit. Bullshit. You know, not all of us are sitting here making having a million subscribers and we're all making shit. We're not. In fact, I have seen plenty of content creators who are well below even what my sub count is, by the way, and now they are well above my sub count. And take that however you will, whether you want to say that they went into particular niches or they changed their content up in a particular style, or which is still the same way as getting in niches, or if they bought subs. I don't know. I've heard all kind of different shit all over the board. But the idea is that I've been doing it the long and drawn out way because simply I have another job. It is what it is. So I'm not necessarily mad at that. But now that I am going back into the full-time employment age, the full-time employment aspect, what does it do for the channel? What does it say for the channel? And I'm wondering about that because there needs to be more of a structured approach to what we're doing, which means that the majority of my streams are going to be late night streams, not overnight streams because a motherfucker needs to get sleep to be online and most of all to wake up in the morning to do work. But also that means that any streams that I do are going to be evening streams. And it's no different from what we are right now. We do evening streams already as is. But the question is, how do we bring forth the, if we can, how do we bring forth the amount of quality that we've been bringing to get us to this point? And not for nothing, that's kind of where I need your help because again, we build this all ourselves. We build this together. It's not just a me thing; it's an us thing. How do we try to bring forth the kind of quality that we stay and we maintain that kind of stuff? Because quite frankly, there are things that I was already thinking about changing up, but now I wonder about it because here's the truth of the matter, folks. We have a growing community. We have a growing community. But when I started doing content, I was never a streamer. For those who have been around for a while, like Locksmith Jeremy, people who are like No Chaser, Zoomer, um, Cousin Lawrence who's up in here. Like there have been plenty of people who were around and I was not streaming. Most of my content was videos and shorts. And then when I dived into streaming, I was doing streaming videos and shorts. But as I got busy with real life and work, it became more on streaming than it was content creation. And I kind of miss video editing and doing content creation, but I want to make sure that I also do streaming because the best part about streaming is that in real time, when I'm having my thoughts and my ideals, I get to also, at the end of the day, have conversation with you. But, however, do you know what people tell me on a regular basis? They say the same way how my video content was, the same way they say things about my streaming content. You know, people tend to say to me a lot of times, you know what's the best part of your content, Resla? You know what? I've said this before, but let me see if anybody pays attention. Chat to you guys who've been paying attention. Some of you are new, some of you have been regular, some of the, oh shit, I didn't even know Gatsby was in the fucking building. What's going on, Gatsby? I haven't seen you for a while. For those who have been in the building for a little bit, who understand the direction of this channel, because I've mentioned it before. What do most people who will come around, turn around and say is the best part of my content? I just want to know if anyone understands, if anyone's caught on to it. You can't have my mic, Joe. I'm not gone, and you can't have my mic. Since I've been streaming, I've been changing my mic 3 times. 3 times. Literally changed my mic 3 times. I have my original mic that's still good. I have my Shure mic, which is broken, and I got this mic now. Does anybody recall what I've had people tell me say is the best part of my stream? I'm just wondering. And that will literally tell me how much you guys have paid attention. Reed M. What's going on? Reed M seems to have it. Joe has it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Blizzy, but Blind has it. He has it. Imperius has it. You're right. Most people, crazy mama's up in here as well. Most people have said the best part of my streams are my monologue. But here's the funny part about that, guys. My monologue has been literally what most of my video and even shorts content has been based on. When I started this stream, when I started this content, when I started this channel, the idea was that, well, you say rant, 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 but most of my content, even the beginning of it, was not our ranting. It was literally doing what we've always been doing. It's providing thoughtful conversation. It's not about picking an enemy. It has never been about being salacious and fucking trying to make other people mad. It's never been about that. It's always, hey, you are a real life person who deals with real life shit. Let's talk about real life shit that actually bothers people. Because you know what really doesn't, you know what really av- everyday average people don't have control over? Let me just say it. Since apparently most of you content creators, most of you guys who like to hop on other people's panels, like to talk about this. Everyday average people don't have control over dick and pussy conversations that happen all over the world. Most everyday average people don't have control over politics. Most everyday average people don't have control over religion. Most everyday average people don't even have control over fucking finances. Most everyday average people do not even have a control over their own lives because they don't think about it. And most of your content that is centered online, especially in the panel spaces, especially in the interview spaces, especially are based on these key niches: dick and pussy in relationships, finances, real estate, religion, politics. Most of the things that don't even really affect everyday life. Because why would I give a fuck about what the government does when I'm at risk of being homeless? It won't matter what the fuck who push whatever policies if I'm homeless. If I'm poor, I'm poor. It won't matter because I won't have to be able to influence shit. If I'm poor and I have my own shit together, or rather, this is making it better. If I am happy in my own relationship and shit as well, what good is it for me to talk about how much I think women are trash? I got me a good one. Go bitch to the motherfuckers that are dealing with bullshit. That has nothing to do with me. The majority of the internet, when people turn off their fucking phones, when people turn off the fucking desktops, when people turn off their tablets and they go into real life, you know what they tend to realize? All this shit they've been doing this for hours doesn't translate to their real life. So the question is, what do you have for your real life? Instead of you trying to sit here and pretend that you can drag the internet into your real life. Most people's actual lives have this much to do with the internet. This much. But when they get online, they pretend like the internet is this. The internet is this to their real life. They try to take this much and bring it into real life. But in reality, this much is actually represented in their real life. Just keeping the buck. Some of y'all, I'm just gonna put it out there because I don't bullshit here on my platform. You want to go to someone else's platform so you can get circle jerked? You can feel good about yourself? Cool, go there. Here on this platform, we say the shit that's actually happening to real people. Whether it is how you think about family, how you think about death, how you think about uh, politics, how you think about being at work, how you think about it, about all that shit. I talk about the things that actually bother real life people in real life scenarios, in real life shit. Not the shit that we want to pretend is important. A man in a happy marriage is not worried about dick and pussy conversations. But could happen to him. Coulda, woulda, doesn't mean it has. Let that motherfucker worry about it once he gets there. You know what he doesn't need to be doing? Nothing doesn't need to go through. He doesn't need to be told that it's already doomed when it's not even bad. A motherfucker who's doing well in his business and everything doesn't need to be told that his entire world is about to go to shit based on who's in office when he's doing well, when she's doing well. If I'm doing well in business, what makes you think that whoever's in office is about to fuck me over? Because the truth of the matter is this, folks. I would be in a different position than you. If you are not a person who's running your own shit, who has your own employees, who's running your own business, who understands how to take advantage of loopholes and everything, who the fuck am I to listen to you when you don't have what I have? Do you run a business? No. Do you have employees? No. But I should listen to you? Kiss my whole ass. Not one cheek, left cheek, a part of it. Kiss my whole ass. Brought to you by Kisses Ass. The internet is so hyperbolic. Just my thoughts, folks. If you feel a way about it, hit dogs holler then. If I'm calling you out, hit dogs fucking holler then. Get mad. Clip me. I won't even strike you. Kiss my whole ass. A lot of you guys talk without actually having any real evidence and real experience. Oh, don't worry about it. There's no beginning, Becca. I'm probably just getting started. Just give me a buck. More people are figuring it out compared to the people who pretend like they got it together. Most people, and let me just say this to most people, all of you, even those who want to be up here and want to pretend like they're exceptional. Because here's the truth of the matter. Oh, no, I'm never going to do that. Most people are everyday average people. Most people are one fucking disaster away for being rock bottom. Most people. One bad decision from being rock bottom. Let me say that again for people in the back row. I know some of y'all got a problem paying attention. Most people are one bad decision away from being rock bottom. Other people that want to turn around and say that they think they're at top are really at the whim of other people. They're not running shit themselves. They're probably good tech people or good managers of the company, whatever, but they don't run shit themselves. If that fucking business goes under, they are SOL and JWF. Sorry, my freaking it's my free. Listen, you know what? And by the way, folks, I have been on for 40 minutes. Do me a favor, folks, because I need all the help I can get. Donate to the Mike Foundation. Apparently, I need a fucking brand. I need a mic. I need to start. You know what it is? I've been investing in mics that's been dealing with USBs, but apparently my last mic was fucked up because of USB issues. This mic is fucked up due to USB issues. Apparently, I need to invest in the XLR, which means I need to invest in a system with a whole professional XLR setup. Can we help support getting Resla to the fucking XLR mic setup? Because I can't run this mic itself. This mic has built-in amps, but apparently I can't have built-in amps. Apparently, I need to have an whole amperage fucking system up here. I can't do it because if I fuck up one little thing, you can't hear me. Can we help get me there? I can't even say I can just totally invest in it because you know why? I just accepted an offer. Hey, again, guys, yeah, I'm making my point. You see it in real time. You see it in real time. This ain't a gag. This ain't a grift. You see it in real time. You're literally you see it in real fucking time. So obviously it ain't me. Oh God! Wait! I just heard that. That was the first time I ever heard that. What the fuck was that? I heard a cha-ching. What the fuck was that? That was weird. What was that? What the fuck was that? I never. That was weird. Hold up. What's going on? You know what, Raymond? Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the cash app. I appreciate it. Cause damn for sure, like I it's not like I don't be struggling. I've been going through mics. I've been going through, but I never had an official setup. I've been dealing with mics that either I pay in that says whatever, but I've never had an official setup. And apparently it looks like that. I'm going to need an official setup to make sure that we don't struggle through this. Because I understand as much as you want to say, and a lot of people come to me and say, "What's your visual setup? How do you get your camera like that? How do you get? How do you learn OBS like this? How did you do all the other shit? How do you get your production for your intros and your outros? How do you? You know what? The thing I struggle on? How do you keep your fucking mic on? How do you keep your mic on? I'm struggling. How do you keep your mic on? Because apparently I've gone through three mics. I've gone through three mics, all over $200. All over $300. So this mic was almost $300. My last mic was almost $300. My other mic was over $200. Like every one of my mics have been over $200. At this point, I'm like, I just need to buy the system because apparently, USB. Look, wait, look. I've had to tape this shit to try to hold it. Look, I've tried to. Let's see if I can get the zoom. I've taped this bitch, and it's still fucking coming out. I've taped it, folks. I've tried. Some people will say, "You're just grifting. You just want people to." No, I literally. I, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to? Is this a grift? Is that a grift? Y'all let me know. Is that a grift? You've been hearing my shit go in and out. Is that a grift? Is all that tape? And that's gaffer's tape, folks. That lets you know I also worked in production. I know what gaffer's tape is because I've been using it for years. That's gaffer's tape. Some of the best fucking cloth tape that you can have. I don't grift. I got no reason to lie to you. I appreciate you, Blind. Thank you, Blind, for the 10. You know what? We gonna do this officially. Let's do this officially. We already had. Hold up. We had Blind in here with it. We had Raven in here with it. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just do this officially for you guys before we get everything else started with the rest of the stream. I'm gonna do this officially. I'm gonna create a goal. For the microphone fund. You know what? No, not even microphone, because the microphone only part of the issue for the mic setup. Because that means I'm gonna have to buy a whole amperage. I'm gonna have to buy a whole cloud lifter. If you can, if you are able to, I don't like to grift, so this is all out of the kindness of your own hearts. I will be starting another job, so I will be trying to get my shit together as well. But anything that we can all do together, because we all build this together. I didn't get to as many subscribers as we are by myself. That was a group effort. Every one of you who decides to subscribe, you are literally a contributor to this channel. It is not a me thing, it is a we thing. Literally. Blind, I appreciate you again, man. I appreciate you again. Starting it off. I appreciate you, Blind. All of this is going to start going into a new system, and I swear, once we get to a point, especially when we start building up a strong enough channel, we're not gonna have to worry about it anymore. Because you know who we gonna be getting? We gonna get those advertising dollars. And for those who have been with me in the back chats, in the back conversations, all that different stuff, you know what I'm aiming for in the future, which means that when I come up, all of us start coming up. Some of y'all have not been in the inner circle. You know what's so funny part? Funny part about it, guys? And I'll even say it. Do I want to say it? I'll say it. I haven't even pushed forward towards memberships. Guys, if you've taken a look, you have not seen memberships on my channel. I qualified for memberships almost a month ago. I have not put anything towards memberships. That's how much I don't grift. Because to me, if I don't have something that's more structurally sound for you guys, I didn't want to grift. I didn't want you guys to put in monthly contributions to something I didn't have fully fledged out for you, because I know I'm struggling. I know I'm struggling on my mic, and I apologize for that. But hardware is hardware. People don't make things to last. People make things to break. It's just what it is. I have been collaborating with other people. You laugh. You know what? You laugh, Brick. But at the same time, yo, it don't matter if anybody can see me if no one can fucking hear me. It is what it is. It is what it is. You laugh, but it's true. You know what? Appreciate you. Commander Alpha Turkey, I appreciate you for it. Because for those who know me, you know, it's part of the reason why my freaking mic goes out. First of all, y'all know. For those of y'all who new in here, Commander Alpha Turkey, you're new in here as well. I appreciate you for the 10. Those who know me know that I touch my mic a lot. And the reason why I touch my mic a lot, you know what? I'm gonna say this. Brick, this is for you. As a real man, I don't get comfortable with things sitting in front of my face like that, trying to be in my mouth. I am not comfortable with objects being in my. It's like someone who does this, who points their finger towards you. You ever feel that, like someone does this to your and you start feeling away, like you feel something, your sinuses start fucking with you. You feel that way when somebody does this. They hold their fucking finger or something to your fucking, and you start feeling that in your sinuses. I feel that way. I feel that way. I feel a way when something is so like when I look at Joe Rogan clips. Shout outs to Joe Rogan, because he's so, he's so much in his masculinity. When I see Joe Rogan on clips, he's like this. But how do you feel about the thing? And he's got this huge ass thing hitting his fucking face. I feel like I can't do it. I've worked in production for years, folks. I have never been the type of person who's been comfortable with a microphone basically touching his lips. The same way when I look at artists, rap artists, and they talking and they got they eating the whole mic. They're like, I don't get that. A microphone is supposed to boost your sound, boost your voice. I don't understand why you're sitting there with your tongue on the fucking mic, your lips touching the fucking mic. I never caught that. As a person who's worked in production, I would say, can you do me a favor? Can the microphone not be having your whole breath on the motherfucker? I have said this working in production, and people come to me and say, Resla, can you come here? Don't bother the fucking artist. No, because I gotta put up this whole microphone and shit like that, and the motherfucker's whole. I don't want to know that after the whole show, when I take the mic apart and everything, I can smell the fact that he had Cheetos in the green room because his breath is all on the all on the fucking mic. Can we not? So I'm very like, he said, yeah, I got clipped like a motherfucker. I'm talking about real shit. Listen, this is just my thoughts. I'm giving some real life shit. Real life shit. Lizzie Blind over here, like I appreciate you for the 10. Like, this is some real life shit. And people don't understand this as content creators. People don't understand when when we're building up an entire system. Everything that I got going is everything I built up. My I don't even buy computer setups. I build my whole systems. For those who know, I used to have a background. I used to work as a computer network. I used to work in computer network operations. I'm the person that runs servers, that builds systems, that builds server racks, that did raids, that did ghosting. I did all that different shit. The original ghosting of systems, not ghosting of text messaging. I'm one of those original people. I build systems. I got in the habit of all that stuff, which means my very desk is not a board desk. My very desk is a in-house built desk. My desk is a countertop, an actual countertop. If I wanted to just chop meat, chop fucking chicken, chop fish on this, I could because it's a countertop. I am Before I settled for this wood desk, I was almost gonna make this shit out of marble, but I was worried that the very fucking motorized legs that I have would support it because I would have to drill actual holes into a marble just to have this shit supported. I built all this shit. I've got several monitors and a laptop. Oh, with a lot of posts apparently, because I work and I have to take notes. And a lot of people turn around and go, he a YouTuber, he making a shit ton of money. Where? Most of my screens they come from the time of COVID because I had to work from home. That's actually how I got started, pretty much in being able to talk to you guys. All these builds came from me having to sit at home from COVID. Half my time was being able to build up and be able to do online conferencing and all the other stuff. I wish, I wish, I wish I had Fed money. I wish I had Fed money. If I had Fed money, this would make sense. I wish. If that was the case, I wish. I wouldn't be bitching to you. I would never ask you for a dime because I'd be making Uncle Sam's money. I wish. Now, if you want to talk about Joshua Jones, he a Fed. He got Fed money. Not me. I ain't got Fed money. I don't got Uncle Sam's tax dollars. He's like, what up though? What's going on? He got Fed money. I ain't got Fed money. He coulda, but Feds are cheap too. That's why they take your tax dollars instead of giving you tax breaks. He a Fed. They don't believe in giving you a break, locksmith. They believe in siphoning as much as they can from you. This is why you can only have whatever money you can have at the end of a year. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm getting screwed the same way how everybody else is getting screwed. This is why we have the conversation that we have on this channel. It's everyone talking about the shit that I was check. I was muted again. Thank you for having to tell me that. Fuck, man. Again, can't say I'm sitting here grifting, folks, because in my listen, I've said, you know what, Josh, if you in the building, because I know you be lurking in the bushes. Locksmith, you here? You been in the building? Uh, no chaser, you've been here in the building. Lawrence, you've been in the building. If you're still here, how long have I been saying that? The only thing I want to be able to do is to take advantage of these advertising dollars because I want to make sure we get to a point where everybody who has helped get us to this point will never have to worry about donating a dollar again. Because the entire premise is to give you guys phenomenal content, thought provoking content, not on this shit that everybody else talks about. The idea is to dare to be different. For how long have I been saying that? Because I can tell you I've been saying it since day one. Since my very first episode, all the way to now, and I say my first episode of Opinionated. When I first started going live doing Opinionated, I have been consistent in saying that. As much as I appreciate everybody who has donated, who has helped build to the actual fund of this channel and what we can do going forward, the entire goal has been when the time comes and we have built up a strong community base, a strong base where even companies start taking a look at us. Everybody who's helped us get this far, especially the key people who have helped us get this far. I plan to give back. I plan to give back. I know there's a lot of content creators, and again, I'm not shitting on them, panelists, whatever, that their entire premise is to keep doing streams where you, who is an average everyday person, it's not an indictment on you. I said most people are average. I'm average. But the idea is that they want you to get your paycheck so that you can donate your paycheck to them. And for me, is that I want to build quality that we and many people like us can have conversations so that we are able to have real authentic conversation with each other, not about who's right, who's wrong, or you're a dummy or whatever. And that might happen because it's a part of regular conversations. But the idea is that I want people who want to have real conversations that might be enlightening and not just trying to be characters over the internet. I've said that from day one. When I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with like Locksmith, where and keep in mind, Locksmith, I've had plenty of conversation where it's like, He knows I'm from the area where we do fuck shit. But he knows what I'm trying to build is not about fuck shit. We've had so many private conversations, whether back chat or in Discord or whatever. He and we've been doing that. Where he's like, I understand. You know I'm about it. I'm paraphrasing for Locksmith. He's like, you know what I'm like. You know what we like. You know where we come from. I'm about the fuck shit. I'm about getting in nasty in the mud with people. I know you about. I know you can do that anytime you want, wrestler. But he's also said, I see what you're trying to do, and I understand how difficult and different it is, and I support it. I'm going to help you, which is why, not for nothing, Locksmith is one of my day ones. If there's anyone I'm willing to take advice from, because he understands what I'm trying to do, but he also understands how difficult it is to do it. He's one of my day ones. No bullshit. Before I started any of this shit, before I ever hit go live, we was already having conversations. Another person came in way later in the game, but I've had so many fucking conversations with and understands. He says, what you're doing is weird. I'm just gonna be honest with you, wrestler. What you're doing is fucking weird. I'm not used to it because so many other people want to take dollars from everyday hardworking people. And you're trying to build yourself in an area where you will no longer want to worry about those everyday people. You want what you're doing is for them. Because that's the truth of the matter, folks. What I'm doing is for everyday people who need to have conversation with people that they're not willing to have with people in their real life. Because they want I'm trying to create a space where people can have conversation with random people who can give them real honest perspectives because they cannot have this conversation with their real friends, with their real family members. For the father, for the husband, for the guy that says that I want to start something that I want to do that can be profitable, but I'm afraid to have that conversation with my mom, with my wife, with my sister, with my brother, because they're gonna tell me to just sit back doing what's profitable rather than me doing what sits back what I already know what I've been doing that's profitable rather than me doing something that could change our entire life. Let me say that again. Daring to be different, taking a chance in life. Most people would say, well, why would you want to do that? Well, what about your next paycheck? Well, what about you a year from now? What about your 401k? What about your insurance? What about? They never think about what you can be. They only hold you as to what you have already been. The same way how we run into so many people online in our real lives that talk about what they used to do, how they used to act, what they used to make, rather than talking about what they could be doing not only not only today, but what they could be doing for the future. And this is why I get so hung up on the thing that I've heard from my grandmother. Used to bees don't make no honey. Don't tell me about what the fuck you used to do. Don't touch my mic. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying not to touch my mic, sir. I'm trying. It's difficult. I have a problem with things sitting in my fucking frame. I'm so fucking. I try. I'm trying. But used to bees don't make no honey. I don't want to hear about what you used to do. We only worry about people who do shit. You know what? I should stop touching my mic and just touch the arm and try to move it away. I'm gonna have to reach out and touch the arm. I can't touch the mic itself. But this is the whole premise of why it came up. Used to bees don't make no honey, folks. I don't want to hear about what you used to do. What are you doing today? I don't want to hear that you used to teach young boys and girls to do slip knots and you teach them to be the best person they get. If you're not doing that now, I don't want to hear about you. If you're not currently being an influence, I don't want to fucking hear about it. That's the reality of the world. They don't want to hear about how much a success you used to be unless you're dead. People want to hear about what you're doing. Fuck you. Yeah, he said that shit in all caps and I got fucking caught off, not muted. I almost thought I was muted again. Fuck you. I'm gonna stop paying attention to you guys in the chat, all right? This is why I'm saying I need a new microphone so I can stop seeing the word muted. Fuck you guys, all right? Fuck you, Locksmith. Fuck you. Now he's trolling me for the fucking hell of trolling me because I keep fucking having my mic being muted. Now you got crazy mama laughing at me too, all right? This is some bullshit. Some bullshit. Shout out to everybody who donated to the mic fund. So we can stop, as I can stop being trolled over my fucking mic, all right? This is some bullshit. I'm sitting here trying to cook, and I got this guy fucking trolling the shit out of me. See what I'm talking about? Burn this trophy behind you. Exactly. I should. I'm gonna do a whole stream just burning it. I'm gonna throw that shit right in the dumpster and burn that shit. God damn it, Locksmith. That's some bullshit. But these are some things that this is a fucking trophy. I can't stand it. Uh that's that's another thing. Like I'm trying to renovate this space. And I think I'm just gonna do something quick, fast, and in a hurry. For when we start getting into the second quarter, which is literally starting as of tomorrow. But so I don't know how many episodes we'll be in. Fuck you. You can hear me. I can't hear you. Fuck you. All right. Not this bullshit. Um, you can't hear me. Catch up. Do subtitles, nigga. Catch me on the fucking replay. Oh man. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do. Because I've been wanting to change up the space for a little bit. I've done it for a few times, especially for those who've been watching my internet career. Wow, that's so weird to say internet career. Because for the most part, I wasn't even facing this direction. For those who catch me in my early parts, you know what? Let me see if I can find some of those clips. It's been a while. I might have to go find panel stuff because for the most part, I was getting started early on the internet. Because obviously, you can't look at my stuff when I was dealing with Reddit and stuff like that. But my early work when I was on other people's channels, if I can find it, where would I have put it? Social media, some phone shit, content. Nope, nothing here. But I used to do a lot of work. I used to do a lot of stuff on my own content. Already posted. When I tell you, I used to do a lot of content. Because I was saying this even yesterday to people beforehand. Before I even ever got started on the internet, I used to run a lot of stuff. Yeah, sign language. Yeah, right now yours the need to fuck with me. That's what your sign language is. The need to fuck with me. But I used to have a lot of stuff going on before I ever got started to hit live for myself. Because a lot of people for at least a good year and a half before I started this whole thing with Opinionated, people say you need to go online. You need to go online. The person who actually just the final person who actually said you need to do content yourself. You need to start a channel was Uncle Tom. You guys have seen him sometimes on my platform on my shows. But he was the last person that really said you not for nothing. You really got a good way of talking your shit. You should really do a channel. Both him and not only him, but also the second person who was on my ass for it was Kai Custom and Designs, or Uncle Tom's wife. She was like, "Yeah, you should really start your own channel." And honestly, that's how it kind of happened. She was like, honestly, you're opinionated. You come up here, you have your opinions. You say this all the time because I used to have a whole big moniker about being opinionated. That she said you should really do a show called Resla Opinionated. But even the concept of how it was stated was Resla Opinionated. I didn't want the show to be strictly about my opinions because I like talking with other people. So it kind of got flipped. It was opinionated with Resla, and that's how the show kind of took off. That's how it kind of took off. Just keeping the buck. This is the origin stories as to how the channel, not how the channel, but how the show began. Because I was doing a whole figuring it out. Uh, Actually, the first show that most of y'all never saw before I just did my first official video, which is figuring it out. Becca actually saw your comment today for my first video. That first video, there was my first recording just before that first video, which was the first day. That video that you saw was the day where I literally left my job. That was in October of 2022. So shout out to you, Becca, for I saw your comment for my video. That was literally the day that I left my employer in 2022, and I did that video and I posted it. And that was my first time. That was my first video to social media before I started this whole journey. And I can't believe it's been like 3 years later. And now I'm about to embark on working for someone full time again. It's been a long time. There's been a lot of lessons, a lot of learning, a lot of I've had mentors, I've had a lot of L's, I've had a lot of W's. It's been very good. And most people, for some reason, online won't talk about their L's. I have no problem talking about L's. I've had a lot of L's. Actually, Blind, if he's still in the chat, Blind and I were talking about that earlier, just like a lot of L's that we have to learn along the time, even to the point where he and I have had a lot of discourse back and forth with one another. We learned so much over interactions with other people. Who is a character, who's disingenuous, who's looking for the real conversations. It's very interesting coming across the first, and actually the probably the only interview I really officially had was even with Sasquatch. Sasquatch is he's one of my mods in the channel because he's one of the few people who've ever really reached out to me prior to anything else, and then even after being on his channel and talking or whatever, and even being interviewed on his channel. And if you haven't already, if you go to my catalog, if you go to the video section, you'll see is it video? I don't know if it's on the video or I don't know if it's under you said you good? I'm good. Uh, I'm good. Like, I don't know. The question was weird. But yeah, I'm good. I don't know if it was a video or if it's a live stream. Let me go check right now. Nope. I don't remember if it's a video or if it's a live stream, but I did my first ever why do I need to talk? Okay, you're the first person that's mentioned my thumbnail. What's up with my thumbnail? Let me look. Oh, we need to talk. Yeah, just we need to talk. Just stuff that's on my mind. That's all. Yeah, we need to talk. That's all. Stuff that's just been on my mind. That's all it is. I was like, wait, what's up with my thumbnail? I've used this thumbnail before, but yeah, we need to talk. So part of the thing that we're talking about is just some changes that's been happening in my life as of the last couple of weeks. No, no, you're good. You're good. I was confused. I was. It's not you. It's very vague. The thumbnail, the title, it's very vague. So I get it. We're gonna be dealing with that for a little bit. It's not you. It's all of us. It's how you look at it. It's how I look at it. It's all things. That's just simply how it is. Um, but Sasquatch, Caucasian Sasquatch was the first person that gave me my first official interview as someone who likes to look at upcoming channels. And it was a very good interview in my perspective because not only did I learn so much from him as someone who's been doing content for a while, but also how I should look at things going forward, all of the what ifs. there were so many things that even after that interview, that even after the channel had grown, um, I can't remember when he came across me when we started doing that how many numbers we had, but even afterwards, in the growth of the channel, when I see particular personalities, a lot of times I remember a lot of things that he talked about with me, even whether it's been um, in the back chats or whether it's been from that particular interview or in other conversations. And it's like there's so much to learn from other people in the spaces. But to go back to what we're originally talking about, just my thoughts. I I know a lot of people are looking at this and like, oh, so is wrestler going away? Wrestler's not going away. I'm just trying to figure out how can I make this consistent so that we don't feel like anything's missed. That's all. And I know part of the thing that's gonna change, and I just have to say it up front for people. Part of the thing that's gonna change is that we can no longer have the long amount of streams that we used to have before. So if you're looking for the 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 17 hour, I can't believe I did a fucking back to back 2 days, 17-hour streams. But you're looking for those days are done. They got to be done because I have to be able to pay the bills. You know, it's just it can't be it. We may get if I'm off the day after, we may get some long streams. If it is a regular day, we may get 3, 4 hours in, depending. I don't know, depending on how things are. But as a regular, we can't have that. We can't because I can't be a I can't leave the person I'm with, the employees I'm with, that work for a new employer and they get fucking fired when quite frankly, left for nothing. We run so many hours up on this channel and I rarely see any money. And again, YouTube does not pay me. Let me say this again, YouTube does not pay me one more time for the people in the back row. YouTube does not pay me an absorbent amount of money in order for me to keep running this shit on a regular basis. I am not a full-time content creator because if I was a full-time content creator, you guys would see me 5 days a week for multiple hours of a week. And that's not what happens. So sorry, it can't be, which means I need to be just like you, working for someone, putting forth skill in trade for compensation to be able to sustain a lifestyle. Because what I do right now is not out of obligation. What I do is for actual fun. I genuinely like having conversation with people. I genuinely like having the back and forth with people. I can talk about things, especially when it comes to work, because work takes the majority of my life. It is what it is. But because of that, I can speak for hours. At some point I just have to look up and see, oh shit, I've been on for this long. Let me just open up the panel and start talking with you guys. And there are plenty of times where I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I may talk for a while and I may have salient points and I may stick it home and I'm just like, you know what? I think I've said enough. I think I can end the stream. And then I get this little thing on my shoulder that's just, but don't you want to hear about what they think? What if they have something nice to say? What if they have something that's contradictory to what? And you know what I do? I drop the link. That's what I do. I wind up dropping a link just like this. And I go, let me know what you think. And then you know what happens? Some people get on, we talk. It's it's relevant, it's good, it's sometimes even controversial, sometimes it's even in relation. But you know what happens? Other people come on, have no idea what the fuck was going on, drag shit into areas that have no business being there. It gets derailed. And everybody now, instead of actually having a conversation based on what it is that could be enlightening and inspiring and all kind of stuff, instead it turns into I want to sit here listening to people pretty much just dog each other out, which was not the entire point. That's exactly true. Because, and here's the reason why you get wild cards on panels. Because people come on, especially content creators, get on panel not about the conversation, but about themselves. They want to pretend that when they're coming up, they're here to talk about the conversation. When the truth of the matter is that they're here to highlight themselves. Collaboration, here's the thing that people don't tell you, especially if you're not media trained or if you're not professionally business trained. Collaboration is not just about you. Sometimes you need to make somebody else look good for you to look good. I realized I touched my mic, so that time I realized I touched my mic, so I had to go check. Sometimes you realize that it's about you. It is you and you having a time to highlight and showboast and boast and showboat and shuck and jive in order for you to build up your own shit. But that is not the majority of times, and that's the problem with the internet. Most people, whether they're influencers, content creators, whatever, think that the majority of the time is for them to show their ass, to just get online, pull their pants down, and show their whole asshole, rather than show there's a whole different side than what people think that they are. Most people run around with the idea of what people think that they are, than what they actually are. And the thing about my channel, especially when we get into these back channel, I wish some of you guys would actually see some of the back conversation that we've had with people. There have been so many great conversations. How you feel about them? What do you feel that way about say blind, or you feel that way about break or speakeasy or whatever? You'd be surprised how many awesome conversations, how many thought-provoking, really like, damn, I can't even argue that. You know what? Here's the funny part about it. You know what? One of the first people that really on the internet, I've had a genuine conversation, even on his platform, brought forth a conversation that made me think, you know what? I'm not going to argue against that, because what you said made some sense to me. And because I don't want to argue it out for the sake of arguing out, like, oh no, I just know better than you do. I go, you know what? I'm going to sit back, research the information myself, and see how I feel about it. And this has nothing to do with how you feel about the person. Personally, personally, it's about the conversation and about what you learn from the conversation, not about the person themselves. Let me see if I can pull that if I can pull that up right now. Because normally, oh no, wait, I'm on the wrong. Here we are. We're on StreamYard. I forgot we were on StreamYard. I almost pulled it up in a different area. Let me see. We're on StreamYard. Window. Let's do this. Boom. I'm gonna open this up just in case. Let me make sure let me make sure I hear myself in the background, and let's see how we go about this. Let me know if you can hear this.
A benefit.
Oh, you can't, because
Let me know if you can hear this.
you can't, because I muted. I can hear him. I just tested it on my other side. So hold up. Let me start from the beginning. And now you guys can hear it. And pay attention to the conversation. I caught it. I caught myself. He gonna troll me the rest of the goddamn stream. I caught myself. Ah, damn it. God damn it. So yeah, I'm gonna mute up, and then I'm gonna play it, and then yeah, listen to the conversation, not just for the sake of the conversation, but listen to what goes on, and then you'll find out why even as much as people have their own different proclivities or different takes when it comes to the people that we talk to, how you can have a conversation and take the good with the bad and run with it. It doesn't need to be a fucking fight to the death.
Something that kept coming up quite a bit, and again, it's kind of subjective to what kind of answer you're looking for. But you were saying, what were like the benefits, right?
And yeah, like other than finances, because obviously I know the financial part can be looked at as a benefit, but again, if we look at only finances as a benefit, I mean, a hitman could be a financial benefit, right?
Could be.
I mean, if it was legal, I'm sure I could make lots of money.
Absolutely. So I was sitting here and I was thinking about what were some of the benefits. Now you're right. There is the financial component, but I was thinking about even some of the questions you were asking a little bit to that, which is like do we put hours on it? Now I think if we do put regulation on it to make it an official job, then yeah, there should be hours in it. Now whether you want to put that as a full-time, part-time basis or even commission is whatever. But then yeah, you can turn them on. You can do your 40 hours, or you can turn around and then um, do overtime if that's what it is, or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But here are other things that I'm thinking about in terms of employment. Yes,
So the conversation, sorry, the conversation that was being had in this particular thing was Easy was doing a stream of prostitution should be abolished. Prove me wrong. And I was listening to quite a few. I just touched my mic again. God damn it. Let me make sure my mic is good. All right, it's good. But the conversation that he was having with several individuals that were coming up on his page were people who, and I mean, there were several from women to men to whatever, who were all talking about whether they were giving the yays or nays on whether prostitution was the thing that should be up. And Easy had given a lot of salient points as to why it should be abolished. And then I came up not as an against, but rather I was listening to so many different people come over time that I had some questions and then I had some statements to try to figure out why is it that he has this particular standpoint. And I gotta say, at the end of it, I was rather taken aback, and it made me really shift as to my own perspective when it came to this particular topic. Just so you can get a little bit of context as to where we were going.
'cause, and let's be honest, they're doing it for financial gain now. So technically, it's a term of employment, but we're talking about being on quote the books, which now that you can be able to file taxes. This is official job. That means you get other little legal benefits. You get health care. You get paid time off. Shit like that. It's the other social obligations that come along with it, like any other job. As far as
Depends what you're talking about. So like strippers, for instance, they can like write off a lot of stuff on their taxes and whatnot, but they don't get to like choose their hours in a way where like clubs will kick them out if they don't show up in certain times, if they become because you have the freelancers and then the regulars, right?
Well, yeah.
These are the two different things. And yeah, sure, they're able to write off a few things, but the healthcare benefits and all of that doesn't come and in Canada here, we have obviously free healthcare, but there's certain things like teeth and other certain things, your eyes, that if you work for a certain company, that they'll add these things in for your benefits. There's no strip club that's going to be yeah, we'll cover these chicks' teeth, or we'll cut. They don't care if this chick comes busted teeth. They don't care. They're just gonna say, yeah, put a mask on, show your tits, bitch.
Well, I mean, I guess it's in the aspects of, if we're talking about prostitution, what other quote sex industries will be able to change? I mean, the funny part that you even mentioned the whole the teeth and things like that, because I don't even know if these are things that are offered in the porn industry.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
Is it really important that, oh my gosh, she's got a pretty smile?
Not to them. They don't care.
So it's an interesting question. But I was thinking about in terms of what you were saying, legal benefits. I knew that was something that I guess people were really struggling with in the conversation. I was thinking about also legal protections. So because of that, if we quote made it more difficult, if we put criminalization on actual sex workers, it wouldn't stop people from actually doing it, but it would cause further risk. So now you may have an increase of STDs, or people or sex workers who decide not to use condoms because they don't want that particular condom being found and being used as evidence against them. But if you are quote legalizing it, they get actual protections and access to justice. I think that's something that works out well, at least in their favor. And because it's legalized, I say another benefit is that there will actually be an increase They will actually not increase, but there will be a reduction in crime because at least the quote area is out in the open, and because it's actually out in the open, you would be quote pulling it from outside the shadows of sex trafficking. So I think that's something that actually plays into that effect as well.
Okay,
And
so
as far as the social thing, that's something that just have to change over time. There's not much you can do except let time be the matter of changing people's minds.
yeah, so okay, so with the like reduction on crime and increased protection, the problem here with this is like this is the assumption a lot of the time, but if you look at the countries that have the most legalized forms of prostitution,
Mhm.
they they have the highest rates for human trafficking, right? So like places that have less prostitution, places that don't legalize prostitution, don't legalize porn, don't legalize strip clubs, all of these things, they have a decrease in human trafficking.
Do they? I have to look into those numbers. I'm not too sure about that. I'll take your word for it. Like I said, I haven't heard about the places that they restrict having the decrease in it.
Yeah.
Versus what they're just
So like if you even look at like go, if you search up which countries search up the most porn, it's the countries that are allowed to. It makes sense, right? Like the I was just talking earlier about how with weed here in Canada, every
Mhm.
year it increases the amount of people that are smoking weed. The very first year it went up by 50%. The last stats they have is from 2022. I think it's every 2 years they do it. From in 2022, it increased another 20%. So every year it's increasing. It keeps increasing, and the age rate for people smoking weed is going down because when you
Well, can you say that
normalize
anything
something
though?
in society, when you normalize something in the society, it makes more people want to do it.
So he's not wrong. He's not wrong in that aspect. Whether you want to go back to prohibition all the way to now, he's not wrong in the aspect of how anything that we start to legalize or anything that people want to do it starts becoming on to be the thing that's on the books, even to the point that we're looking at marijuana being the thing as of today. And by the way, I don't know, I can't say if OGs in the chat, but honestly, the same way I even learned from OG, there will not be any weed slander in the chat because quite frankly, like everybody wants to do what they want to do. In particular am someone who says that you do whatever drugs you want to do so long as you are not hindering the lives of other people around you. And I say hindering lives, I mean like literally if people are not dependent upon you. Whether someone gives a shit about I care whether you throw your life away. That's not the same thing of whether you need to fucking be sober in order to work to take care of your kids or your family because you're the breadwinner. There's a difference in that shit. Whether your best friend who wants you to clean up but you don't want to clean up is one thing versus the people who are with you are dependent upon you being sober in order for them to actually maintain living. There's a difference. There's a strong difference in that. And it's just a matter of people who can be able to distinguish the act of where they are in their life. Because even with people who are dealing in particular ailments, some are functional and some are dependent upon them. And that's also the thing that we just need to figure out the difference between them. But this is part of the conversation I was having with Easy, and he was honestly online. He was one of the first people that really made me think about this entire aspect when it comes to prostitution. Because I was more on a liberal standpoint when it came to it, but even after hearing about it, I was like, eh. But when he provided me information and I went down that rabbit hole, honestly speaking, even when I would try to go up against it, when I tried to find things in favor, whatever, it made sense. And that's how I wound up agreeing. But again, that's me being open minded and not just believing that my position is the only and best position.
Yeah, I'm like you can say that about anything. I don't think we've really
Yeah.
ever come up with a safe way to decriminalize anything. Anything that gets legalized gets pushed up. But then we also go into the aspect of when we do things like weed, like alcohol, like like cigarettes, like all the other stuff. Of course, it's increasing it, but then there's also the aspect of shouldn't people be allowed to take part in these things that are their vices, rather than restricting people who on a national level to say what you cannot do. Because then we get into the whole thing of, I guess if you're here in the US, like, freedom of speech and what else gets held to a standard where you're not able to do it. How much autonomy do you actually have?
If someone is depressed and they're having self-deletion thoughts, do we let them do what they want to do, or do we give them help?
We give them help.
Right. So
They choose.
no, the schizophrenic that thinks the walls are talking to her, we don't just let her believe that. We put her onto medication to regulate this, and if she doesn't, we even put them into hospitals to make sure we get them regulated so that they're not going around doing crazy things, right?
Well, these people are not also able to leave on their own volition.
Well, I get what you're trying to say, like their mental condition is affecting them, right? And wouldn't you say that somebody who is told or knows the outcomes, because this is one of the arguments, is they say, like, they know what they're doing, it's their choice, right? You're saying it's their choice. Well, someone who knows these outcomes are going to come to them and makes this choice still. I could argue this is a mental condition in itself. 1 in 4 women these days are on SSRIs, and when you look into the porn industry, women, it's 3 in 4 women. All of those women are on some type of depression pills because of the way it affects their life.
All right, so let me ask a question that maybe you can give me a little bit more context to. If we abolish prostitution, right, what exactly would these women be doing for quote an expense to be able to take care of it? I'm going on the emotional argument of it's a hard time, it's hard to get work out here, it's an easy way to get money because I got to be able to feed my kids. Mm-hmm. What exactly should they be doing?
Well, do you think those same women are capable of being a janitor, working at McDonald's, a waitress? Do you think they're capable of those jobs?
Well, yeah. Well, I believe people are capable of doing.
Well, yeah, I'm saying if they're capable of selling their bodies, do you think they're capable of doing those jobs?
Yes, they are. But are you saying that the only reason why they're selling their bodies is just strictly out of convenience, or because of how much?
Yeah, because it's an easier way to do it, right? If you could, I don't know what your job.
So and that's a thing that I brought to, not necessarily. Actually, I never brought that online. By the way, that part that he said was online, I thought it was a very important thing. I'm trying to touch my mic, but the aspect that it's out of convenience, and I don't have a position to disagree with when it comes to that, right? Because I've met women that turn around, and I guess, let me just put it this way, for women who have pimps, the aspect of a convenience versus they have to do it because they're afraid of their safety has been very interesting compared to that of, you said, out of desperation. So so I'm happy that you said that, but that's part of the conversation that Easy and I is actually having in this. Because is it out of desperation when you make that choice? Because he says you don't need to, quote, be on the streets. You can get your job as a cleaner. You can get your job as a janitor. There are still legal jobs with benefit. As long as you work for an employer, you get benefits, you get all other stuff. You can do that rather than being in the streets. My equivalent of that would be the equivalent of a stripper. When you're a stripper, and then we were talking about that, the whole mouth thing and everything. When you're a stripper, you're not getting benefits. You're not getting all the. So we mentioned, like, no one gives a fuck if the stripper's mouth is busted, because she doesn't get benefits anyway. But your most basic company you work on want to make sure that your teeth is teeth is good and fucking read. That's strictly what it is. Do you have anything that you want to say differently about that, Blind?
No, I mean, I've had this conversation with Easy, debate actually a lot, and I feel like it's a thing of desperation more than anything else, in my opinion, because a lot of times it's a female that's like of working age but has zero skills, zero opportunities, like that were provided like beforehand, or
So let's flesh that out. You say zero skills, zero opportunity. The one thing we know about skills, right, is that skills come with a matter of doing the thing. Getting the opportunity. Opportunity is not the same thing as building skills, right? So we know you first must have the opportunity before you're able to build the thing. But if
yeah.
you're saying that you won't even give yourself the chance based on opportunity to do the thing because you're already so built, this is the only life I know, and I'm gonna build it to the point. What's good, Bray? I'm gonna build it to the point of the things that I've mentioned before. It's that there are people who and like I say with strippers, they are great example. Oh my goodness. Could we see even online? I don't know if you know these people, but when I think of because she in my mind, I wouldn't bother, but she's not to say that she's not a baddie. In my opinion, but she's a baddie. In my opinion, you may not feel that way about, but I look at someone like Jasmine Jafar. I
I'm
don't know.
not familiar.
Again, go look her up if you feel like it. Not my fucking problem. Not caring about it. For those who know, you know. But the chick was a lawyer. Was a lawyer. What do you mean making money? Lawyer, was working a law firm and everything, but decided that made more money doing coming off of red pill content and
OnlyFans.
doing OnlyFans. Made more money. Was that the most prominent thing? But I treat that mindset and that same aspect the same way how I look at a stripper. There are plenty of strippers who work their way through law school and everything else. But you know what? The one thing that they'll do to forsake all that stuff, because they'll look at the money that comes from stripping and they'll say, the money's coming too fast. I can't give
Mhm.
it up. The money's coming too fast. So there's an opportunity to walk away, but there's also opportunity to stay because it's more money than you ever saw currently.
Well, I have to ask: are you making the same conflation that Easy does? The all sex industries are prostitution, because that's not
Oh, well,
true.
that's a great question. I wouldn't say that I'm making that claim, but it's a good question. It is a good question.
Because the digital space gives opportunity that's different than everything else. I feel like prostitutes have a uniquely difficult experience, separate, because the law makes a distinction. Like a lot of times, the red pill guys like to group them together and say, "Well, if you're selling a sexual act, it's prostitution." But the law goes through the trouble of making a distinction.
Can
So
can we
there
can,
is.
can we just address something real quick because I have a thing against this. It's just a matter of the times, but I want us to quickly go up against this one, and I want you to jump in on this as well, Brick, as well as your original thought in this. But Commander Alpha Turkey says OnlyFans is different than street walking
Commander.
or call girls. Is it though? Is it? Because you know what? Because the aspect of what gets propagated upon the John still remains the same crime.
From the girls aspect though, because a lot of times these girls that work the streets don't even have a phone.
That's not
Like,
true. That's
bro,
not true. That's not true. They have phones because that's how they keep in contact with their pimp.
not a lot, and I'm saying from my experience of what I know in Texas at
Well,
least,
it could be
and
a Texas thing versus the other cities. It could be just that. Yeah, yeah.
like
I can agree with that. Yeah.
they use these things called you remember Backpage?
Yes, absolutely. That page is
Yeah.
still going. I don't know why,
Okay.
but it's still going.
Yeah, the one here is called Mega Personals, and what it is it's basically like to set up a date, and then they meet up with them or whatever. But those girls are a lot worse off than a girl that's on OnlyFans, because a girl that's on OnlyFans at the very least has a setup where she can set up and do her thing, an internet connection, computer or whatever. Like a girl that does the other thing, in my opinion, from what I know, I don't know a whole lot, but is in a different bracket of desperation, or different bracket of need. But
Okay.
that's why I feel like they group the whole thing together though when making the conversation, because it's easy to make the conversation when you don't take into account the desperation part.
Well, let's just be honest. So here's another thing that we also need to look at is very, very important. We can't say that all girls who turn around and want to be streetwalkers all do it out of desperation. There are girls who literally choose that is the life that they want. Because
Well,
why? Because you know why? The same way how we run across a lot of guys who turn around and say, "I don't want nobody telling me what to do." There are women that
true.
do exactly the same shit. I want body autonomy. I don't want no one telling me what the fuck to do. If I want my leg in California and the other one in Maine, that's exactly what the fuck I want to do.
You're right. But I would even ask, like,
You
how
know
many
what?
of those?
There are plenty of those. There are plenty of those because I've met them in strip club and we have a song. We go, there she goes. She said she came to make it rain.
Do you don't think that at least a small portion of those end up in the desperate category?
It depends on the pimp. Not every pimp is backslapping.
Oh yeah, I guess I never thought about the pimp aspect because from what I seen, a lot of females, because I actually have known females here that done it. They operated without a pimp, like just
True.
made their money.
True, but how many? But again, that's a new phenomenon due to the internet.
Yeah, true.
A lot of girls have not yet still come up to that because here's the thing that even with the idea of the internet, there's the protection aspect that's missing.
That's
Yeah,
true.
the thing is, when you look at the internet and you look at like a real prostitute, a real whore, if she's gonna be that,
A real whore,
right?
a real whore.
Well, I'm not.
A real
Okay, so
slut bucket.
well, there's a difference between someone who just shows pictures of them naked or getting fucked versus someone who actually goes out there and fucks dudes
Very
for
true.
money, right? And so the real whore is just a matter of time before she has a pimp. She doesn't have a pimp until she has a pimp, right? Because she's going to come across that John who's not really a John, he's actually a pimp.
Or a perpetrator.
Right.
And
So it's just a matter of time,
yeah,
right?
You're
So
right.
and so I want to kind of put out my position on this. I believe I did actually when you did your program on it. My opinion is a little bit it's very much different than speakeasies. I'm not, and it's probably different. It's different than a whole lot of people's. I take the approach of I'm just trying to not let anybody get hurt, right? So I look at prohibition of alcohol and prohibition of drugs has not worked for the reason that people got hurt during both of those times. I mean, drug prohibition still exists and people are still getting hurt, right? So people are being dragged off to dungeons in chains because of it. And so the approach that I look at it is, does the cost outweigh the benefits? Are people getting hurt because of the fact that you want to make a moral judgment? Is the moral judgment outweighing that cost? So, for instance, obviously we're going to lock up people who red rum, right? We're going to lock up diddlers, okay? There are certain things that we're definitely going to stand out and say, look, that's wrong, and we're going to lock you up for it. Is sex work one of those things? And some people would take the moral judgment of yes, and then there's some people who would take the moral judgment of no, right? And so the fact of the matter is that there are people who've made a decision in their life that paying for sex, those men who pay for sex, who take that money and use it to pay for it, that's not a hard moral stance, but somebody will look at that and say, that's not okay because you're taking your money that you made and you worked hard for and going and paying for sex. You should have paid for something else. You should have paid for a house so that you could live in it, pay for this. That's a moral judgment. Then there's the female who says, I'm going to sell my body. It's my body. I'm going to make that decision. When I look at it, I say, if it's someone who's of age, right, 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy, she can make that decision. She has autonomy over her own body to have sex or not. If she wants to get paid for it, who am I to judge that, right? So now I've delved into the realm of, I'm going to take your body and I'm going to put it into a cage because my morality tells me that it's wrong. Now I'm the bad guy because I've put you in a cage for it. And then I've also taken your money and your stuff. And everybody's looking at me going, yeah, but she really didn't hurt anybody. She was actually out there just getting paid for doing something that she already enjoys anyway. And he's paying her for something that he enjoys anyway. And nobody actually got hurt. Now, I will agree with the slippery slope argument of that once one person sees it, then the next person sees it and says, oh, it's okay. I can do it that way. And the next person, so on and so forth. Well, that's also not my fault, right? It's not something that I can jump in and say, your parents didn't teach you the right thing or the wrong thing, right? Now it becomes a belief issue and a religion issue. And then, now we're getting into the reason of politics in the first place. And I'm not going to stand up and say, you should lock that person up because they went and paid for sex or they went and had sex for money. I just can't do it. I cannot see myself being on the side of putting a human being in a cage for sex work.
What about those human beings that decide to put themselves in cages?
Like a masochist? Like
Well, I mean, well, when people even
whips themselves,
when people even use the terms of streetwalkers opting to even if they have the options of now being able to pick up Johns via the internet, which I think is becoming a growing thing. Wouldn't know how, don't know. Never picked up a streetwalker. Known a couple, but never picked up one. Those who choose those ways, who choose rather being under a pimp than anything else, wouldn't they be choosing a cage?
Kind of. Can I make a point on that though? Just popped into my head.
Sure.
Is that the whole like you guys said, if she's a streetwalker, she'll eventually have a pimp. Like that alone is a reason to legalize it. Because this is my whole issue with the whole thing is the fact that it forces women that could operate in a less desirable field such as sex work, forces them to operate in an underworld type scenario. So like it forces you to deal with pimps who are probably one and the same a lot of times with the drug dealers or either linked up with them, and they don't have any kind of medical coverage. Like it forces them to operate within this dark market, and if it was legalized, they wouldn't have to do that. And also, my biggest thing is the autonomy, man. A woman should be able to just do whatever she wants to with her body.
Wait, blind. Are you blaming the system for people not being for women not being able to toot that ass up wherever they want to?
Damn straight. Yeah, they should be.
Yeah,
they should be.
So no, I actually don't agree with that because the thing is, if it's illegal and it's on the black market, then that is a good thing. I say that is a good thing.
Well, let's be honest. But let's be honest from a moral standpoint.
Right.
Why do we look at it as being illegal in the first place? Especially when people like to say this, and I get so tired of hearing about it, but I can't argue it. It's prostitution being one of the, not the, one of the oldest professions in the game. Like, when are we gonna learn? When are we going to learn to make it a part of the norm? Because obviously, holding it back has never made it stop, because it continues to be with us till this very fucking day.
Well, because it is one and the same with healthy sex, just different.
No, that's not true. If you couldn't drink a certain kind of thing, they stopped you. If there was a whole big thing against it. Even during the type of wouldn't say alcohol prohibition.
No. Well, I'm saying once you
I'm
make it,
of all the things that have been permitted, that have been prohibited, sorry, not permitted, prohibited throughout history, the one thing that has always been demonized, that has always stayed with us throughout the entire time, is the ability to get boxed.
true. But once you actually cross all of the obstacles and go to
one moment. I'm sorry to block you, Blind. Appreciate you, GS, for the raid. I appreciate you. Go ahead, Blind.
Like once you actually like get to the point to where you're going to engage, like it's still the same. My point is that people are going to have sex no matter what. So the whole slippery slope, and with Easy, I've gotten into this many times. The slippery slope idea is kind of nonsense, because it's like people are gonna have sex no matter what. Like people are gonna so it's like it's not that people are like
if they get access.
Yeah.
So this is where I put it. So church and state, right? Belief versus politics, religion versus politics, right? So we as human beings want to meld the two, because we want the politics, the policies to
What's good? Came in here with a G.
Got the glasses,
look at him.
Everything. We want the politics to or the policies, the law, to reflect our belief systems. The problem with that is that our belief systems will never agree individually, much less even on a collective level, right? So really what I boil it out to is cost benefit. And when I say benefit, what I'm referring to is promoting life. My view of benefit, promoting life, right? So if it harms more people than it benefits within life, promoting life, then I say no good.
So then how could you be okay with it being forced into a dark market? That's much more dangerous. I was going
to ask a more defining question. How does one determine that it hinders more people than it does?
That's a good one. Right. Yeah. So this is where you actually have to do some statistical analysis, I guess. You look at your population, you say, okay, what does the majority of the population believe in? And then you go with that. And that's kind of what the legislation does. They look at what does our population actually believe in. For the most part, this is how the leaders.
Here's something we know about people. People say one thing, but let's be honest. I'm gonna do this whole thing of like house. Everybody lies.
Well, people do choose a more liberal option more often. I will say that they will choose because they know that they're going to make bad choices and mistakes. So they always side on the error, even if they are.
Okay, I gotta go. My nieces are here. Salute to you guys. Sorry, I don't mean to bell, but I gotta go to the babies.
Look at him. He want to be a good uncle. Look at this motherfucker. He want to be a good uncle.
I get that. Yeah. So,
hey, Lindsay.
Hello. Hi, y'all.
So benefit, I would look at that from the standpoint of, again, going to what promotes life, right? If it does not promote life, I say no good, right? So if you're ending up, you're putting more people in cages because of something that doesn't actually cause real harm, then I can't go along with it. I just can't. You're putting people in cages for nothing at that point.
Can I'm not fully understanding what the question is, but I'm kind of in the vein of, I guess it's about sex or whatever. Does the wolf have to ask permission to have claws and fangs? Now,
of course
not. These things enable it to defend itself and to attack and secure prey. So why should we hold it against the woman that can sashay, swing her hips around, and get a man to open his wallet?
Ooh.
Why should we defang and declaw women with their most powerful tool? That ain't
And
right.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that. What I'm saying is that this is the very thing that has been, let's be honest, it's not even trailing us. It is literally walked with us throughout all of human history.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to finally do to make it a precursor instead of something that's just always following us as a nasty stain?
Well, so I guess what I'm saying is that if I were to look at it, I would like to flesh out a little bit more, if I may. Now, biblically, from a moral, ethical standpoint, from my worldview, I would be against that particular usage. Right. But if I'm not, not everyone appeals to that authority. So if I break it down to, okay, well, wait a minute, right? Like, if the wolf doesn't have to ask permission to use its tools, now it doesn't mean that it can't have a bad ending. Then why should a woman, like if a man was strong, or if a man could dribble a ball and jump real high, and
what if these are two wolves at play?
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so why are you making the woman who engages in prostitution, because I think this is what we're talking about here, the wolf, when I have a hard time saying that word, so
not at all. I'm just giving an example how things in nature don't have to make excuses, or they don't have to have allowed allowances for what they naturally have as a weapon or a persuasion or a tool. Or
well, then by that same token, if I get mad at you and my impulse is to hurt you and punch you in the face, and that's natural for me because anger does lead to physical violence, why is it okay for me? How can I excuse that natural kind of action I have and defend it when we have laws and rules against that kind of thing? And I don't get to, just because I have impulses, act on them. I'm just asking.
But Lindsay, with respect, there's a ton of videos out there of women doing exactly that and get knocked the fuck out.
Yes, there are. I don't like it either.
And getting knocked the fuck out for doing it. So what I'm saying is, just because you got claws, kitty, doesn't mean the dog don't also have claws and fangs too. And sometimes
likewise,
with the dog,
you may be ready for an STD in this case, and she may be ready for an STD.
That's very obvious that people don't want to talk about. Human beings themselves take things that are natural and want to make them unnatural.
Yeah, I actually was going to go down that road too, because
isn't that
interesting?
Excuse me, I keep interrupting. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lindsay. Go ahead.
I mean, not for nothing. If we just look at Neanderthals, there's no way we're gonna say that every Neanderthal, in order to get to the kind of civilization, even beyond the Neanderthals, every raider, every whatever, got here because of every person that's being born from those generations coming through all came here through consent.
Structuring our argument on what is natural is unequivocal because we are not dealing with nature here. We are dealing with a man-created civilization, and we have to follow the rules. And the rules are, we don't have to, but that's what they're there for, is to structure this organization and to keep it going, max benefit. And I like it that Brick mentioned, he didn't say cost analysis, he said risk and benefit. And I think what's interesting about this whole thing is not just to do the risk and benefit analysis. I think that's great, but I think the way people are looking at it is cost and benefit analysis.
That's actually exactly what I said. I did say cost and benefit, right? So the benefit.
Oh, I thought you said.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly. Well, even from the.
You didn't mention.
We're picking on I know we're picking on languages, but literally, when you're doing a risk analysis, you're literally looking at the cost. You're looking at the cost.
He did not say cost. I'm not trying to be pedantic or a jerk, but he did not say.
I got you. Yeah.
Say cost, but okay, that's what you meant. So I digress.
Well, no, I did, and I actually even went further into it, and I said if the cost outweighs the benefit, then I'm not agreeing with it. And when I say benefit, I even defined benefit. I said I'm referring to promoting life. That's my view of benefit.
Promotion of life, yes.
When
Right,
you say
so-
costs, are you speaking literally, or are you talking about costs, things such as sex trafficking, STDs, ramifications of prostitution?
So
Good
the cost would be the opposite of the benefit. So death, promoting death. Yeah. So or anything that would go along with destroying life. So you could be locking someone up in a cage. You could just be simply smacking them in the face. That's not a promotion of life. That's a promotion of destruction of life, right?
No,
Someone also,
the
Okay.
dehumanization, sure, but not the destruction.
the
I mean,
dehumanization is a choice, is it not?
Well, dehumanization, right? So the slippery slope, right?
Sure, we can say yes. We can say slippery slope. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
so,
think you can. That's another thing that I guess I have a lot to say because I was in the audience. I'm going to be quiet, but I'll bring it up. again when you're-
No.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you something about. You said something about the nature. Would it be fair to say that there is a nature to a man? There is a nature to a woman. Like
Absolutely.
All right, so
We're
so
all sexual beings.
There's a nature to humanity. Yes.
right, but I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying is like, and I think perhaps you misunderstood what I meant when I equated. I didn't mean that a woman was the wolf. I meant that things don't have to apologize for what they're good at, or they shouldn't anyway.
No, you cleared that up.
That's what I was getting. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, but
No, that's
but
what I
so-
was getting that you were saying. Yes.
yeah, so we do
Yeah.
agree that a man does have a nature to him. A woman.
We all
does
have that
a
part
nature
of
to-
us.
Okay.
Sure.
And well, it could be like when you say there's a cost, it could be a dollar amount, it could be a cost to society, it could be a cost to ethics and values, it could be a cost to someone's marriage,
Right.
it could be a cost to their sexual like your health, like you were talking about, like if
Your
you get an
dignity.
STD or the gift that keeps on giving, herpes, that kind of thing.
Or AIDS.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean,
What's funny
these-
about that?
dirty boy.
but it is interesting how when you ask clarifying questions like a cost, yeah, it can be yes and, but I like that you're asking clarifying questions, Lindsay.
Well, the reason why I asked that specific question is that because some people have an argument where they do literally speak of cost, and they liken
what do
it.
you mean by
to-
cost? You mean like money?
I mean money, literal, because they say, well, let's take the legalized drugs argument and make it parallel this one. Just because drugs are bad doesn't mean people shouldn't have free agency. In fact, why don't we capitalize on it? If we involve the government, for example, we can monitor it, and we can actually use it to tax and maybe use that for homeless people or use that for such and such or education. So maybe some people have an argument with prostitution too. If we have more government or some kind of control over it or regulations, we can make a lot of money, and people always love money, especially legislation and government, and we can apply it to something good, right? And that'll be their argument.
That
Where
would
you
actually
wanna-
be my
Huh?
argument against it. Getting government involved would be my argument against it.
Yeah, so money's not evil. The love of money is evil. So as a Christian, that really kind of, I think I understood what you meant,
As a
or maybe
man.
I didn't. But
It's
for
some
me,
people's argument. I didn't say it was any of yours.
Sure.
I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here.
Yep.
yeah, he doesn't really need a whole lot of help. Actually, he's doing pretty fine on his own. But thank you, Lindsay.
It's true now. It's true. Go ahead. One of you there. One of you.
One more thing.
Only
You
one.
mentioned yeah. I promise after this, okay? Just one.
Just one.
I was in the audience, and now I had a few things
Just
to
a
touch on.
tip.
After this, I can shut up. Will I? I don't know, but I can. Okay, slippery slope argument. I understand it to be fallacious. I get that negates your premise. But I'm going to say the slippery slope argument in this case has empirical data that backs it up. The empirical data says that legalizing prostitution and sex work actually has a direct correlation with sex trafficking. And I believe Easy made this point. He was in the room and he left, so I have to credit him because he made this point. And he had the data, and he actually had the the receipts. It is directly correlated with underage sex and sex trafficking. To me, that cost is the winning argument right there. That cost is too steep.
Yeah, and I actually do agree with that as well, because the more out in the open it is, the more likely people who really shouldn't, the young ones, be engaging in these acts, they'll get involved. The more likelihood it is. And it is a slippery slope argument. Of course it is. And it's
But it's
fallacious
proof.
on its face, but there is statistical analysis, just like Lindsay said.
A slippery slope is false when it's a fear and it's unwarranted and it doesn't happen. For example, Russia's going to nuke the United States. I'm 100% sure of it. Because why? Because Putin and Trump are fighting. That's a slippery slope because it's not necessarily going to happen. When something has happened and you can see the results in other countries and they have empirical data on it, that's not a slippery slope. That's
So what
proven
would it be
data.
called?
They said the same thing for North Korea. Yeah.
So it would just, I mean, what would that be called? Historical analysis?
I don't know if analysis is the right word to put it.
I think it's statistical data, empirical data. Studies, official studies done with statistical analysis in professional setting.
But,
Yeah,
but the thing about that, I'm hearing what you're saying, Lindsay. I'm not disagreeing with you, but when it's really all the thing about the study of it is like when we're all working on just the theory and the hypothesis of it. That's exactly what it is. It's not empirical, especially when it hasn't come true. They said the same thing about when Trump was going up against fucking going up against Kim Jong.
Well, hold on a minute.
Both got nukes. Nothing was launched. It was all theory. It was all conjecture. The same thing, people have been saying the same thing, and it's not just Trump. They've been saying this for a while when it came to Putin. Never once has a nuke been launched. You can take your last 5 presidents if you want. Never once was a nuke launched.
If truth exists on a continuum, and none of us, I don't want to dive into epistemology, it would drive me crazy too.
The thing about it is that even when you say the word, if truth is made on a continuum, when does it become a lie? When does it become a lie until the thing becomes true?
It's not okay. Here's what I'm getting at. Maybe you can help me rephrase it better or articulate better what I'm trying to say here.
Sure.
No matter what data you present to somebody, it's going to be relatively easy for them to say it's biased. There's a confirmation bias. Well, this person used to be a communist. You know, Bernie Sanders. You can't trust him because of that, or they're going to be able to somewhat negate or invalidate information that even is quote unquote proven in any way that we have to prove it. So what I'm trying to say is you could say the data that says prostitution increases sex trafficking and underage sex is bullshit because that corporation or whatever it is funded by doctors of OBGYNs of America or something like that. So when you say it's proven, it's true, it throws me off a little bit because I'm trying to. I think it is, but I don't know how to tell those people that are in doubt.
But here's the funny part about it: when we say, even when you say like, I think it is, but there's no proof to actually show because guess what? It's never happened. It's the same way how we can say throughout generations of human existence that when people say that the end times is coming, regardless of when, how many times different people have said the end times is coming, yet we are still here to today. So is it still true? Or are we still waiting? Like, what's going to happen? What part becomes conjecture and what part?
How about, I get you, how about historically, it has been proven that.
Historically, when it has been historically proven that the end times came?
No. I'm saying in this case, historically, it has been proven that there's a direct correlation between the increase in sex trafficking and underage sex when they legalized prostitution. For example, go to Germany and look at the statistics there. And we're to follow suit, same thing is going to...
Got muted.
You're
Yep,
muted.
you moved your mic.
I moved my mic. God
Hey,
damn it.
I want to show you
No,
something. I know it's not
take-
special, but look, see this? See
Shut
what
up.
that is?
I don't want to hear that bullshit.
That's a rock band mic.
I don't want to hear that bullshit. But to
See?
the point, we never really got to that point in the conversation with me and Easy. But to the point that he really convinced me on was the fact that it was very true. It was the point that the areas in the world, in the globe, that chose to actually try to legalize prostitution, or at least give some credence or give some leeway to prostitution, are all the areas that engage in trafficking, not just sex, in all trafficking, all, not just sex. So the conversation that he's having when that in that episode that the show that he did was the whole, we need to abolish prostitution, prove me wrong. Even after I started asking him questions, again, I wasn't debating against him or refuting against him, but when he even provided me evidence and I said, I'll look at whatever rinky dink evidence he give me. But then when I turn around and I go down a rabbit hole and I look at versus what I know and what I think versus what he's provided me, and then run down that rabbit hole as well, and I look at it globally, from when we even talk about Amsterdam, or Amsterdam to Las Vegas, to fucking Cambodia, the fucking Thailand, the fucking Vietnam, the fuck whatever. He's not wrong. The evidence shows that the areas that happen to show areas that are more liberal towards sex trafficking, prostitution, have the highest degrees of sex trafficking.
But it is not enough to change your
And
mind.
all trafficking, all, not just sex, all human trafficking.
Above all else, do you put yourself, your needs, your impulses, what is natural for you above, say, the rights of underage women not to be trafficked?
Underage women. Well, first of all,
Well,
if-
16,
well,
17-year-old.
I was going to say, regardless of whether they are underage women or underage men, I still put my health and my rights and my selfishness above them all.
That helps me.
Well,
that explains it.
that's because if you just want to put it that way, I'm not just a bleeding heart person. I care about me first among all.
That
things.
explains your priorities.
You
So
have
it
Well,
does
yeah,
explains everything.
my priorities, Lindsay, is that I survive first.
Yeah, you have to.
It
If you put
explains-
anybody above your own life, like the thing is, so a right is actually a claim, right? That's what a right is. It's a claim. I know a lot of people.
Yeah,
Ortho bros
the idea of
are
pouring
on
out
forced
the
doctrine.
idea of
It's
pouring
not.
out of an empty cup is ridiculous. If the cup doesn't even exist, there's nothing to pour into. I
Right.
must survive in order to benefit other people.
Right. The highest claim over your life, your property, and your liberty exists with you. It is your right first before it's anybody else's.
Every single time, contextually, in every situation.
time.
Every single time.
If I am not there to help, I am not there.
Yeah. No man, no woman, no child has a higher claim to my life, my property, or my liberty than me. Same goes for you, Lindsay. If somebody walked up to you and says, I am now your king or God or Lord, whatever, and I now have claim, I have the right to your body, to your property, and to your liberty, what are you going to tell them?
I can get
No,
more
you don't.
salient. I can get more clear than that, because apparently this is the problem that I have a lot of people, even in politics, because they wait for the general elections and they don't fucking get in their local elections. But they wait even when they get to the general, right? Who do they vote for? The person that they think is in their best interest, right? But if you're not there to vote, why the fuck does it matter? Because I meet so many people on the internet that says, "Why does it matter who the fuck wins? Because it's a pyramid scheme, and because I don't even bother voting." Then I look at them and I go, "Why are you here on the internet talking shit, nigga? You don't even fucking vote. You shouldn't be up here. In fact, let me drop your ass.
Don't have a voice.
This
You
is
don't
how
have a
I
voice.
see your argument. Let me sort of steel man it just one more time, because I can't believe I'm hearing what I hear, but I think I am. And Okay, let me just go. So, because your rights and your impulses and your well being is so important, and you have a need and a desire for women, and if they're going to sell their bodies, because it's a sexual desire is a human need, if they're going to be selling their bodies willingly, it's okay for you to partake because it meets a need. She's 17, that's not your problem. If it increases sex trafficking, the legalization of prostitution increases sex trafficking, that's not your problem. What's more important is your needs, your impulses,
That's a
and
straw man. In fact.
Lindsay, you're
that's
going
why I
to
want you to correct
Lindsay,
me.
you're going to make me throw out my hoodie because none of that shit of what you tried to bring up.
I'm
has
so glad I
anything to do with
misunderstood
anything.
that.
It's
You're
okay.
literally about to make me brag about hoodie. No one said that my needs and the fact that women are, none of that shit came. Woo!
That's how I interpret it. So please, by all means.
yeah, allow me. So when I talk about my needs are very basic: food, clothing, water, shelter. Those are the same needs that every human being has. People pretend like they have more needs than that. One of those wants that they claim as a need is sex. One of those wants that they
Thank
claim
you.
that they need
I don't
is
need
children.
vagina.
They actually claim that their need is their children. Now, I do agree that it is a strong desire to have prodigy. This is a wonderful thing. However, it is still just a want. It is not necessary for you to live life.
Okay.
Well, first, because here's the first and foremost thing that we can try to disagree with it. Do all men being born get the chance at leaving children behind? Thank you for the
Yes.
silence. The answer is no. You're a liar. And you know what, Lindsay? I'm gonna say it for the sake of it, for the flannel. You're a liar and a nigger. There's no way that happens. The majority of, like, come on now.
Well, I could.
There are too many men that do not get to father children. There are a lot of men that actually end up taking care of someone else's kid. We are not going to turn them out. In fact, that's been human history from the beginning. There are so many people whose legacies end whose bloodline ends because they never give birth to children, both women and men.
The
Who
world
say,
needs
I don't want to
ants.
have children, but I have no problem being an auntie.
Yep. There's
Plenty of
aunts, uncles
bloodlines
who are
that
happy.
end.
Look, like, so my father
You
had
just called me the
children.
N-word.
Absolutely.
My father had children. My brothers and sisters had children. And now I'm an uncle. And it's a wonderful thing. And I'm not going to discount it if I don't have children. That's not something that I look at and go, oh my God, now my life is over. I look at my nephews, my nieces, and I say, my father's legacy goes on, right? And I love that. It's not to say that I do or don't have children.
I mean, there are plenty of siblings who all have the same father who are okay with not having children because they expect their other siblings to have children.
I'm okay with it.
Sure, but if you say, let's just say, if you're an only child, there are plenty of only children that believe that they have no choice because it's all on them. And there are plenty of only children that say, I don't give a fuck if it ends. Because I don't want to go through that because I'm jaded about whatever. But the fact of the matter, they even believe that there are billions of people on this earth and let's just say this. There are tons of women who have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children, all by all different men. Which lets you know that if that one man got this one chick pregnant that many times, we want to believe that there are so many, especially when we hear that so many women are turning around and saying, we don't want no man because that we want to believe that there are so many men that actually get their hands to get the raw in a vagina. No, they're not. There wouldn't be such a push for so many men in so many spaces Thank God not this one. In so many spaces talking about how they want to get their hands just to be able to sniff a Lindsay. If it was just so much of a regular thing, there wouldn't be so much desperados out here. We wouldn't have conversations all over the internet about desperados. The term simp would not be a thing because everybody's entitled to love, right? We keep pushing that shit because why? It's false. There's someone out there for everybody. Here's the thing they didn't tell you. That person might be somewhere else entirely in the other part of the country. The oldest joke says that God created 4 corners of the world and there's a woman for every man. And then God made the world round. That is so fucked up right then and there.
Is this your argument for legalizing sex work?
My point is the idea that you think that not even you think that the idea that there's someone out there for everybody or that everybody will be able to get somebody is absolutely false.
No, I
when
just
we
didn't
look-
understand the segue from the
especially-
conversation.
Especially when we look at the fact that there are more genders born more in one category than there are the other. Whether you want to look at it in some saying there are more men, some look more than others. The idea that we're saying, even with the point when people are like, the reason why that women are able to start putting up the whole sex category in terms of being able to put themselves out there to be in the streets is because, quite frankly, there are a lot of men who do not have the opportunity to even be able to sniff a vagina, never mind get it on their own without paying for it. So if sex trafficking is going to be the thing that women do, I, in particular, am not a problem for it, but I can see the case for people who want to say, no, it should be abolished, like easy, because they make a very good case. Because it never stopped men from being the most egregious people in the world. And even women who wanted, like a Cardi B, robbing people and getting them roofie or whatever. It never stopped people from doing these kind of acts. But let's be honest, the only way that Cardi was able to drug dudes and steal from them if it wasn't for the fact that they were already desperate and willing to pay for it.
Yeah, and so
we start allowing it because, quite frankly, if you're allowing it, you're giving people more comfort and more availability to less likely be the people who start being a fucking creep and start stalking and whatever else. That's in my opinion. Feel free to throw whatever information you want. I will read it, whatever. But if you just want to be subjective or hyperbolic, that's whatever it is as well. I see that the more, because here's the truth of the matter: the more access that people have to, people will get more stuck on the fact of having too many options. But the idea of having no options, people go fucking overboard to get whatever they can get.
That is true. Yeah, carrots or potatoes. I mean, at least that's an option, but no potatoes, no carrots,
potatoes?
no green beans, no tomatoes, no nothing. I mean, I'm going to just go right up into the king's garden.
Listen, GS has said himself. GS has said himself. If I'm in an area that has nothing but potatoes, we go through a potato famine and you got chicken, I'm robbing you for your chicken.
Oh my gosh. The problem is not dealing with vegetables.
Hide your eggs, hide your wife.
I'm just saying. I'm robbing you for your chicken.
I don't even feel like arguing against
Egg
this.
snatching out here.
I'm just saying. We run into it really comes down to the whole prostitution conversation comes down to literally the thing that we argue about in tandem about everything else, resources, the haves and have-nots. What do you want to do to make sure that you have? And some people take the extreme in order to get there.
Rob, steal, and kill.
That's literally what it's all comes down to, resources. And I hate to say it, Lindsay. No, I don't hate to say it, but I'm going to say it.
You already called me the N-word. Go ahead. Gloves are off.
I call everybody that. But quickly resources.
I'm just kidding. Go on.
No, you're good. You're good. But, but it's resources.
So again, from a right and wrong, moral, ethical standpoint, yes, we are probably, most of us, in agreement that prostitution is a bad thing. But in order to make it illegal, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to lock people up for doing it.
Fact.
Now, the question is that beneficial or is that more costly? And so that's why when it comes to, and I was going to go into this earlier, church and state, we as a society try to keep those separated because we realize, hopefully we realize, that force needs to be separated out of our belief systems. Rather, that if it is something that is a belief system, the best way to create change is through encouragement. Encouragement, not force. Force through religion, well, we know what that is. That's the Crusades. That's the countless religious wars that we've seen. And with politics, yes, war does come into factor. However, typically it's because of brute force coming from belief systems primarily first.
Rick,
you attack my brother, I'm coming
Rick,
at
check
you.
this out. So Commander Alpha Turkey said something, everything in moderation, right? And I do not disagree with that. But how do you create moderation in the mind for someone who's an addict? How do you create moderation in someone who's greedy? Wait, let's just say if we live in a 4-mile town, there's a bunch of guys, not many women around. Lindsay is one of the 20 women in town. The majority, there's 50, there's more. There's 80 guys in town, 20 women.
The Smurf Village.
Yeah, the Smurfette. Yes, yeah. You know what? Even better, Lindsay would be the Smurfette of the village.
We're sharing, right?
Moderation.
Good thing I can run fast.
Sharing is caring. She's gonna love it.
Oh, no.
Well, moderation. There's nobody
There
has
ain't
a
no
Smurf.
moderation.
Someone's gonna be more greedy. What are we doing?
Yeah, and you can't red rum in moderation. So not everything, right? You can't diddle in moderation. No, there is no moderation for that. There are some things, look, crack is whack. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, I know people. The thing we have to learn about when people say in moderation. In moderation comes down to the individual, not to society itself.
Yeah,
that's what things we have to understand. No, I'm not gonna spend my time with Smurfette, Lindsay. I'm not gonna spend my time with Smurfette and then say, you know what? I think I had my fill. I'm gonna let Rick have a turn.
well, no. The first guy is, it's okay with the first guy. It's the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. I mean, when you get to about 100, bro, we're done.
You know who's looking pretty good?
Slap somebody for sure.
Generally specific.
Yeah.
He's looking pretty good to you guys too.
You
better watch out.
And I don't want to go into it, Ruthless. Don't get me going, but that's the way it happens in prison. Some dude that looks like a lady. I'm just putting an example out there. We're not going into that. But that's what happens, right? So, it's just moderation. No, it's not moderation. It's still
don't even bring up. No, sir. No, Brick. Don't even bring up moderation. I might have to ask how many moderational attempts you guys had at Bussy. Don't do it.
Ugh.
So you guys talking about be disciplined?
No, we're talking about how many people have the Bussy attack.
You spent some time in there, right?
The lady Smurf me.
Lady Smurf you.
And I can't get mad because I'm too busy laughing.
Hey, there's some dudes in there who will straight up sell it.
That's a minority though.
Wait, well, how would you know though? How would you know though?
Because I'm just telling you, just from observation, right?
Observation,
watching.
Because you got people in there in full-on relationships.
Cuckold.
Yeah, they live in cells together.
I heard he was watching from the cells. He was watching from the cells like
he had to smash the mirror, break it off, got it stuck out the door.
No. You got No, we got 20.
See
We got
ya,
20.
see ya.
We got 12 hour movement.
Damn.
That fishing line threw it out
That's
into the middle of the
bad.
dorm.
That's bad. You said you was on like the.
Oh no, we ain't gotta do that. No, Resla.
Is that you, Ruthless? I see you,
No,
Ruthless. You watching?
No, you're talking about
the
whole.
mirror.
You're talking about the whole. I'm talking about
Damn.
we have 12-hour movement. So throughout the day, when you walk in and out the unit, this couple is, they're out in the common area, right? Coupled up watching the TV, whatever they're watching. Yeah, I mean, but it's the minority, right? Because it's a lot to give up. It's very dangerous to go in that path because the problem with it is you lose a lot of your cash as a man. Like you can't really, like if you get an argument with somebody, right? You can't even breathe loud. They're taking you out, right? You're less than a man to them. So you lose a lot of respect, a lot. So you just got to either be a cold-hearted killer and just do it, or you just got to shut the fuck up.
You can't be a cold-hearted killer getting your shit sucked with some ramen noodles around it, right?
Yes, you can. Because if you try to check that guy, if you go and try to check that guy, he stabbed you 140, 150 times.
Oh, now but some ramen noodles are hanging around his Johnson. Jesus.
This conversation has officially deteriorated.
Break that shit in half. You get 2 kills for the price of 1.
But it's very, very, very rare.
That's not even fucking like he need to. He's trying to freaking bury the evidence that you managed to walk by and saw he had ramen noodles dangling from his shit. Damn.
Yeah, but you ain't saying that to him though. You wouldn't tell him that.
I ain't got to tell him shit because I won't be in prison. I'm just saying.
Well, this happens on the street too, right? We got men.
No, sir. There's no jail chronicles in my life story.
No, but where you from?
Ain't no sagging pants walking around for me. Sorry.
Ain't no sunshine when she gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away.
Well, you got out here the streets is worse though. You got the guys who are transitioning and Hollywood. Oh my, don't go to Hollywood.
She shaved her legs and then she was a he. I said, hey, child, take a walk on the wild side.
I'm trying to summons right now. Don't you
do it. Hey, baby, take a walk on the wild side. And the colored girl sing. No Diddy.
And the entertainment industry is the way of life.
No, it's not.
Do it?
Yes, it is.
Not. It is not the way of life because there are plenty of us who do not go into the
No, I said the entertainment industry.
There are plenty of us who do not go into the entertainment industry, so therefore it is not the way of life.
We're talking about music. We're talking about the music.
Wait, however, are you gonna say that the majority of the world goes into the entertainment industry?
No,
therefore, it is not the way of life.
No, I just said it. I said in the industry, not people who going in.
No. That's not. You didn't say in the. You said the entertainment industry is the way of life.
Yeah, it in there, the things they do, the P Diddy's, those are they have the parties all the time. That's the way of life.
Ruthless. You know what? God damn it! Get on camera. You wearing a Sean John shirt? Is that?
Hey, I'm telling you, don't. If your daughter or son want to be a singer, a rapper, tell them no. Be something else. Don't let them go in there, man. It is they're man. Them parties is crazy.
Resla, are you muted again?
I'm not muted.
Okay.
I'm not
I
muted.
wanted to ask you, this Diddy guy, you're all for sexual liberation.
Shit.
Don't let anybody tell you what to do with your, man above and man below. You know what I'm talking about. So
no,
is Diddy,
go ahead.
Okay, with your head below and your head above, whatever. Your body, don't let anybody dictate what you can do sexually, that kind of thing. That's what I'm getting from you. So, given that, and you're okay with legalizing prostitution.
She's saying don't get dick napped. Don't let your little head tell your big head what to do.
Right.
Oh, is that what she's saying? Okay, cool. I was wondering. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You didn't get that?
No, I was like, wait, where is this going?
It's going to Diddy. Give him that.
Yo,
You think Diddy is an okay guy and should not have any type of punishment in prison or anything like that?
I think Diddy should
I don't know.
absolutely. But I'm surprised. Actually, I'm surprised that people did not get Diddy until recently. I'm surprised
Why you say that?
because the moment that I always thought it was weird. There are several people in the rap game, in the hip hop game, that have always said things that I always thought was sus, whether they are alive or whether they are dead. The one thing I did not approve of was how often Diddy said the words "take that, take that, take that." What the fuck do you mean?
I can't take you seriously today.
What do you mean? Bad boy, take that. What do you mean?
Just because a man says take that, does he belong in prison?
Yes, yes. What do you mean when you say
Well,
take that? Elaborate.
So here's the thing, wrestler. He was
Wait,
talking.
no. Let's go there. One of the rappers that I grew up listening to was DMX. When he straight out said, "Suck my dick." For all you jailhouse niggas, you know it's about to get thick. What do you mean by that? Listen. Let's get it on, baby. I'm about to take 3 niggas at once. You think you crazy? What do you mean by this?
They be wearing dresses too in their videos.
What do you mean?
What do they mean by wearing a dresses? Like, why you wearing a dress? Kanye, all the guys wear dresses in their videos on concerts. I'm like, what is going on here? That's a big thing up there, man.
People have said a lot of such shit in rap, and a lot of people let it fly. And I'm going, no one gonna question this? Diddy's just one of many.
Well, where do you think it went bad with rap? Because I remember like PM Dawn, I remember like Rob Bass, I remember there wasn't any of this weird queer stuff going on in rap until I don't know, I'm just gonna say the people that are bagel enthusiasts got involved with the rap community, and all of a sudden things got really, really kind of weird. We'll just put it that way.
Well, it was going on.
Marshall Mathers, for example, that dude. I mean,
it was going on. You just didn't have social media like now, right? Because now you got social media, people got access to the information.
Yeah, you know what? You might be onto something there. But I'm just like, it just didn't. Even the lyrics, though, the way that they conducted themselves, what they rapped about was completely different. Now everything's
all jail niggas. I just want to put that out there.
And it's like now everything's boats and hoes, man. You know, everything's boats and hoes, boats and hoes. Got to get me some more boats and hoes.
They feed what the people want. That's what the industry makes money on what the consumers buy, right? So they put the product the consumer wants. If the consumer didn't want it, they wouldn't buy it. They wouldn't put it out.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Right?
As hard as it is.
No, Lawrence. I should not understand these things. I've never been to jail. I've never been to jail, and that's not the kind of life I look for.
Yeah, man. You understand about what goes on out here in the streets.
No, Lawrence said, I should understand. No, I don't understand. I shouldn't, because you know why? I never said, for niggas that have been to jail before, it's about to get thick. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Let's get it on, baby. You're about to take on 4 niggas at once. You think you crazy? No.
That's a little more than airtight, though, ain't it? For a dude, that's way more than airtight.
Even the fact airtight. I just don't want to.
You don't know what airtight is? Come on, bro. We'll just say with women, there's 3. With men, there's only 2, unless he's counting a hand on each side. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know how he's taking on 4 at the same time.
Oh, God. No.
You've heard of the Eiffel Tower, right? You know that one?
So that goes back to moderation, is what you're talking about? What can you do in moderation? All right, is moderation possible to sustain? Is what you're saying, Resla?
I'm saying moderation only happens with the individual himself. Moderation is not on a societal standard.
Yeah,
it's not natural.
Anything in excess is absurd, but most things in moderation can be acceptable. That's always something I've lived by. That's a saying that I've had for a while. Some meth doesn't usually end well. You know, so, you know, I don't know, some anal sex, if you're a dude, you know, like you can build 1,000 bridges and suck one cock. Guess what? On your tombstone, you're a cocksucker. You're not a bridge builder. So just saying. Sorry, did I break up your Black Panther party? Right? I mean, right? I don't know.
I mean, wrong is wrong, no matter how you look at it. Whether you do wrong one time or you do it 10 times, it's all wrong. So there's really no moderation. Like you said, it's more, you know, people try to justify what they do in moderation to be better than people who do it out of moderation.
Uh-oh, I killed the panel. You muted.
You said don't find out. I don't know. I'm not trying to find out. I'm just saying. I grew up listening to these stuff too, and I just go, wait, what the fuck?
All right, I'm back. When you got myself a coffee, some chocolate cake, some milk.
Not chocolate cake.
Oh yeah, chocolate on chocolate. The 28th was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Happy belated.
What state you live in, Rick?
I live in New Mexico.
Oh
I live
shit!
I live in the state of confusion.
You live in the desert, Rick.
A lot of people live there.
A lot of Indians. And...
It's high desert actually where I'm at.
Yeah.
But there's a valley where I'm at, and then there's a mountain, literally like all within eyesight.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
A lot of Indians over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's there's actually a few reservations.
Mm-hmm.
One right south of the city. So that's, you know.
I tell you, I had the displeasure of driving through there 3 times now, taking my mom from Arizona to Connecticut, then back to Arizona, then from Arizona. I'm sorry, no. Then she flew to Kentucky. Then I had to drive her back to Arizona because she changed her mind again. I was like, dude, Mexico is freaking brutal. Straight line, wind, dust.
Better than Texas, though.
But I see these houses out there, these little haciendas, like out there, like in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, where do they work? How do they survive? How do they generate income out there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm talking like out in the nowhere, you know, just like you're on. And I'm just like, what the?
They get their money.
Have you ever seen McClinic?
Give me a second. Because I'm just seeing it's not. I don't know why my phone didn't make any noise. Oh, that makes sense. But I also got another super chat from Gloria. Thank you, Gloria, for the 30. Damn, for the 30. Thank you very much, Gloria.
Oh,
because we need to fix our system. We need to really, especially we're moving into the next quarter. We're not even half year yet. We need to fix this goddamn system. Thank you, Gloria, though, for the 30. She's on the Cash App.
Thank you, Gloria.
So there's a line that John Wayne uses about West Texas, and it would apply for much of the plateau in the high desert area. Is God didn't make this country for farming. It's for the cattle, you know, at best.
It's crazy, though. I mean, like, how do they survive? I mean, I'm just looking at how brutal. I mean, listen, when I was in Afghanistan, bro, man, you sleep on top of your MRAP Cougar when you're out doing maneuvers and stuff like that. You go to a little fob or a cop somewhere, and you're like sleeping on top of your MRAP, you know, on top of the litter with your sleeping bag, looking up at the sky. You know, like the Eagle song, 1,000 stars all around. You know, I like the way your sparkling earrings lay on your skin so brown. I want to lay with you. You know what I mean? With all the 1,000 stars all around, bro. You can see. With no light pollution, you can see stars you never even knew were out there, bro. Crazy amount of stars.
Yeah, that's the way it is in Florida, some places too, because it's flat land, and if you clear the trees, just it's so wide open. Like in Osceola, when they have to do like the burns, if you go out there after they get done with their regular burning for the underbrush, you can go out there and you get to see everything.
Well, what happens when they turn the water off for you guys, man? Like I
Leave.
A wrap.
like the desert, man. I'm just like, dude, it's like you remember the Sam Kennerson? Remember the Sam Kennerson joke about the starving kids and Solly Struthers? Like we did get. It's like, you see this? It's fucking sand. You know what it'll be 1,000 years from now? Sand. Move to where the fucking food grows. You're in a desert. He's like, how do you do that? How do you like to rely on the infrastructure that when you turn that knob, there's going to be water? Do you have the ability? Do you have the knowledge to go out there and do the little divining rod and get your own water to suck on a cactus or something like that?
You're gonna have to dig for it.
I mean, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy to think about it, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and I haven't been out here long, but just those things do come to my mind. Is what if what if all of a sudden the government just kind of disappears and there's nobody to run the infrastructure?
You better get them tabs to purify water.
Yeah. Where are you gonna find it?
But hopefully you got gallons stuff or stored away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I have some water stored, but go ahead, Ruthless.
Yeah, bottled water, store them up. Get you about a ton of them and put it down in the blow.
I take like old milk jugs, rinse them out real good, clean them real good, and I'll fill those up and I'll store them and then rotate them just in case. Keep them out in the garage.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, what does ready look like? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What does ready look like? I mean, when
Canned goods. Simple.
So is it like there's like a max time frame of like a certain amount of years that you could really store up food without it going bad? I mean, you're the canning guy here, GS, so you would know better than probably most of us. But from what I understand, there's like a max time frame where before a certain amount of time it's good, and then after that time frame, it ain't no good no more. But in order for it to even taste good, right? Because now you're gonna eat cardboard tasting ravioli, 2 years from now. It might be still food, but it's gonna be tasting like cardboard.
I mean, fuck the fact that it tastes bad. The fact that is it safe?
Right.
Well, it's probably safer than starving to death.
Right.
I mean, but is that a die you want to roll? I mean, dysentery,
Exactly.
like food poisoning. What a freaking way to go, man.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow.
Am I going to eat the poisonous berries because I'm starving?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised what you eat, man. I'll tell you, man. I don't know how our ancestors freaking survived a lot of this stuff. I was listening to some homesteading lady, and she said that she used to really enjoy to read some of these like older journals of like, when the settlers and basically how many of them didn't even make it through the winter. Like just how many people just succumb and did not make it through the winter.
Starvation.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Really?
like, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, even trying to store stuff or having a bad crop or, missing a certain yield or.
Is that moderation?
Well, I mean, so have you ever thought about it? Like, I'm a Christian man, but I also believe in this thing called nature's equilibrium. I believe that nature, if the earth were a dog and fleas were infesting it, and it got to the point where there were so many damn fleas, at some point in time, it's going to itch and scratch. That's an earthquake. It's going to, it's going to start licking. Well, that's a flood. I mean, it's like, or what about like homosexuality? We were talking about that earlier. Is that nature's way of population control? Is that like is that a necessity?
You say you're a Christian? You say you're a Christian beliefs, or you're a Christian?
I can't. I missed what you said.
Are you a Christian or you have a Christian?
He's a Christian.
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm a young Christian though. I got a lot to learn.
But you also subscribe to nature.
No. What I'm saying is God created it all, bro.
I'm trying to figure out why that's a negative. Go ahead, Ruth.
I mean, God created science. God created the earth. God created nature. But if you're going to get all Gaia with the third eye blind stuff, bro.
So I'm thinking,
miss me on that.
When he said he was a Christian, I'm like, okay, But then he said,
Mhm.
well, I wonder sometime if this catastrophic event happens, would the earth be, well, then you have to know God
Yeah,
has
man, what's
control,
going on?
right?
Well, what I'm saying is are there built-in systems to it when the population, although it go forth to be fruitful and multiply was a directive?
Are they
Is
built
there?
in systems by nature? Yes.
Yes.
So
Did God implant, like he put a failsafe in? He told Noah build an ark and warned people, and most didn't listen. And guess what he did? He flooded the earth and got rid of the population. And guess what? We're still here.
Yeah,
So
seasons exist.
7
I mean, keep in
almost
mind,
8 billion
even
of us.
but the thing of it is, it
You got
shows
muted,
God's,
Resla.
it
Yeah,
shows
he's
God's
saying.
superiority, right? So God is superior over his creation, right? So there's everything happens whether he wants it to happen or if it doesn't want it to
well,
happen, it's
keep in
not going to
mind,
happen.
keep in mind, even if God, even if you want to follow the whole rainbow thing, and God said he would never flood the earth again, didn't mean that God said he wouldn't try to find a way to quell the numbers. GS makes a strong case here.
Yeah, I think that GS guy is pretty smart.
Yeah,
Oh,
even
God,
if
get the fuck out of here.
even if you look at
and humble too.
yeah, even if you look at the stories, I mean, if you look at, hey, go over to that nation and destroy them and everything that they are.
Yeah.
That's population control right there. They're bad people, destroy their entire nation.
Yeah,
That's
God,
population control.
And we
Yeah, I
know
don't-
God's got it, so we ain't disputing that. But that's where I'm at, right? With
Mhm.
Julie Pacific is when you say you're a Christian, and
Mhm.
under that umbrella of Christianity, right? Meaning you're up under the authority of God's authority, and
That's
everything about your life around you, and all that is under God's orchestration, right? He is the one that orchestrates everything in your life and around your life and on earth. So then there should be a amount of faith there, right? In that.
Right. Now, I don't presume to speak for God, or to understand God's ways, but I do know that if your contention is that here I am, I don't say that I'm a Christian. I am a Christian. So the interesting thing is, like, people that are secular, they think that science is their religion. And that's fine, but God created it all. It all goes to him. It all goes to him in the end. God can take what was meant for evil and turn it for good. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the pleasure of kings to seek that matter out. I choose to be a king, and I don't choose to be a peasant or a pauper. I choose to seek out what God has concealed. And so that's science, right? What do we do in science? We're trying to figure out. Go ahead.
Look at Brick. He can't help but smile when you said that.
Why? Because it's true. It has a ring of truth to it.
Well, because Brick, he believes in choice.
Well, we have free will. That's synonymous with choice.
You were here yesterday. We had this chronological debate, right?
Oh no, I missed it, brother. Sorry.
Yeah,
I take the weekends off usually. I try to relax on the weekends.
When you said that, choice, Brick kind of had a smirk on his face, and I just wanted to tell him to take the smirk off his face, but he wouldn't listen. So that's what I'm saying. Now this is the question I have for Jimmy Pacific, and this also goes into Brick, because Resla, he's in the middle of this. He doesn't know, or he doesn't really take a side all the way. But when it comes to the matter of the conversation we just had about God being the Almighty, right, and having this presence in your life that helps you to have hope, correct?
Well, the hope thing is kind of interesting.
Hope in Him.
No, I have faith in Him.
Same thing. Those are two same words, right? Hope,
No,
faith.
it's not this. Well, then why didn't you say faith?
Well, because they're the same word, right?
Okay. Well, let's forget about hope now. Let's just talk about faith. How about that?
All right,
from now on?
right? But what we're saying is that you, as a Christian, us Christians, subscribe to God being the final authority on everything.
Right.
So this is where the matter lies of contradiction.
Well, where's the contradiction in that?
I'm just going to ask you the question, and you can kind of help me. The contradiction of choice contradicts that.
Wait, what?
Choice contradicts God being the final authority.
No. So if you're a kid and you can choose to disobey your mom and your dad when they say, do not leave your bedroom, and you sneak out into the kitchen and you shove a cookie down your throat, you understand that there will be a final decision made when they tan your ass for breaking those rules. But you still were able to eat the cookie, weren't you? You're still able to sneak out of your room and disobey. And that's just man. That's not even God, Ruthless. So if you can be willful and kick against the God, where do they kick against the goads?
The goads
of the goads of man, that you can or God, you can surely kick against the goads of man.
And I actually agree with you. Go ahead, Brick. What you want to say?
So my view of this is actually something that most people don't consider. Yes, we do have final choice in certain instances. Yes, this is a fact of life, right? So people look at a choice that they say you can either choose the good or the bad, right? But they don't go outside. This, I swear, bro, people don't think except for the one or two side, or consider things from the one or two side. They don't consider what's in the middle or on the outside. There are choices that you can make that are neither good nor bad. You choose what name you give to your dog. You choose what name you give to your child. You choose what you're going to have for dinner. You choose which chair you want to sit down in. None of these choices are good nor bad. So you actually do have a choice in the matter. However,
well, hold on. Hold on though, Brick? Would it be good or bad to sit on a bicycle with no seat? Would that be a good choice or a bad choice?
So I would say that would be stupid.
Well, would that be a good choice or a bad choice?
It would be neither. It would just be stupid.
But there's no negative responses to making stupid choices.
I really don't know because I've never done it.
But what I'm man
with experience, you know.
I hear what you're saying, but you're making it super simple to the fact that there's an application in which what you're saying is actually foolishness, right? Like not what you're saying, but like to make a decision that is quote unquote neither good nor bad. Like, well, give me an example of something that's neither good nor bad.
I just went down a list of them. You choose what name to give your dog.
But I gave you an example of, you said to take a seat is neither good or bad. Well, what if you're meant to get up and work? If you don't work, you don't eat.
I said what chair to sit down in. So you would actually be sitting in a chair. Now, of course, if it's a chair that's on fire, that's no longer a chair. If it's a chair with a nails for a seat, that's no longer a chair. But you are choosing which chair to sit down in because it's a chair, not because it's a good or bad decision. And these are the things. Like, so hold on. So for instance, you chose to wear sunglasses most likely because the lights are bright, right? So that was a good or bad decision. However,
it was a bad decision because somebody said it looked like a pedo. in my live stream, I'm like, no, my eyes, ever since Afghanistan, my eyes are really sensitive to light. But go ahead. That's a good point.
However, let's say you had the choice of 3 or 4 pairs of sunglasses. Now you've got to choose which pair of sunglasses is the pair of sunglasses that you are going to wear. They're all the same. Let's say you bought them at Home Depot, right? They're all the same, actual sunglasses that you bought at Home Depot. You just choose one of the 3 or 4 pairs. It's not good nor bad. You just pick one up and say, this is the one today. And then you lay it down. And the next day, it's not the same one, but you chose a different one. It's not good nor bad. It just happens to be the one that you chose, right? So there are choices that we make. Like, for instance, I'll give you another one. The background here that I have, right? I have like generally about 10 backgrounds that I cycle through at the moment. I may choose a whole new background. Is that bad or is it good? Neither. I mean, of course, I could choose a bad background. But you see.
But thank you for your over elaboration. But I'm glad you got a passion about it. But what I'm saying is to both of you, But then, does God have the final authority, or does He not have the final authority?
Now, this one I like. Okay, so according to
hold on. What do you mean the final authority?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't
Does he have a final judge? Hold on. You need to define what you mean by the final authority.
Okay, so
He is the
that's
final.
context.
So you
No,
mean does he get to make my choices for me in the end?
Yes.
Like I can't
and-
choose if I'm going to go to heaven or hell based on my own choice. If I separate myself from God by sinning, that's death. The wages of sin is death. Spiritual death is me being separated from God, not God separating from me. By my choice, I am. God doesn't send me to hell. My choices send me to hell.
So
God doesn't send anyone to hell.
so I have to disagree there, but I don't want to really go in that rabbit hole yet.
Well, you can disagree, but why do you? So I think you have I think I understand what you're saying, but I think it's a bit of a category error. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think there's a category error, or maybe it's a confusion on my part. So with respect, Brick, if you don't mind, maybe you could explain it to me a little better where he's coming from. Is it my understanding? Let me try to steelman you. You're saying that God has the final authority of every decision I make in my life, or does God have a final authority of where I go, heaven or hell?
So I'm gonna add context right now. So
okay.
Authority, does God have final authority on all matters in this world?
Well, no. Well, free will would override that. Just look at Jonah and the whale.
So did you say okay, cool?
Jonah disobeyed the Lord. He ended up getting chucked off. He ended up volunteering to get thrown off the boat because it was bringing them bad. He ended up getting swallowed by a big fish. He repented after 3 days in the belly. He was spat up on the shore where God sent him to Nineveh. What is it? Nineveh. Thank you. He ended up after repenting. He ended up getting spat up on the shore, the very place that God wanted him to go in the first place. But it required that he repented, right? So he repented, which is a 180. He was going away from Nineveh, and God spat him back up on the shore of Nineveh after he did a 180 and repented. So it's interesting what you're saying is so, but again, I'm trying to, maybe I interrupted you. And I do apologize because I do that on occasions. It's not my intent. Brother, I need you to be very clear. I don't want you to go on a whole nother elaborate story, but are you saying that God has the ultimate authority over my every second choice? Or are you talking about where I eventually end up after my culmination of my life choices? It's a real simple, like, is it the former or the latter?
Every choice.
Every choice. God has the final authority over every choice.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because if he wills it, I could immediately be dead. I could just drop dead right there immediately. Right.
So in this context,
one more thing. There's one scripture on the court. I'm gonna let you go, Brick.
Sure.
I was reading the other day. It said, there are many thoughts in a man's heart, right?
The heart is deceitful above all. Yep.
Nevertheless, the counsel of God stands. Mm-hmm. And now go ahead, Brick.
Well, it talks about the heart being deceitful above all things.
Yeah. But counsel of God still stands. God counsel stands over that, though.
Well, what is counsel, Brick?
God counsel, that means his authority.
No, he gives you a list of do's and a list of do nots. And if you don't do the do's, the authority is here's where you end up. So your choices make you choose where you're going to go. Go ahead, Brick. I do apologize.
You guys are so funny.
That was a whole bunch of arms and butts.
You guys are hilarious.
Very, very precise language with us.
So when it comes to authority, I'm assuming you mean something along the lines of dominion. Okay. The dominion of the entirety of the universe belongs, according to the scriptures, God. Okay. Now, what God did was he actually delegated dominion. And so for the earth, man was given dominion. he was given the ability and the authority to dominate the earth. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean he was given the authority to destroy the earth. That is not dominion, right? A king takes care of his land and his people, okay? The dominating factor here is man. Man has dominion, authority over certain things on the earth. If he goes outside of the bounds of his dominion and tries to, quote unquote, play God, now he is no longer dominant over the earth. It is now time for the true king, the true creator, to step in and wipe all of that stupidity out. And then he can do with it as he please, because he is the potter and we are the clay.
I got a question about
that last part right there. Thank you. You just made contradicted General Pacific, because if God is the potter,
no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Well, I think so. Of course, you didn't.
Because I said in the beginning of it, God made it all.
No,
nature. Oh, you're a nature. How can you be a Christian and believe in nature? I said God made it all. He has control of it all, bro. It's all his.
Okay, and I agree with that. But the potter.
So then that means we're the potter. He's the potter. We're the clay.
The theory of the potter, right, is God is the potter.
You seem like a double-minded man.
And there's a scripture on this, right? There's actual scripture that says,
read the whole scripture. Don't cherry pick it and salad bar it like every other Christian does to fit their need.
I think it says in Romans. I'm thinking in Romans says, "Does not the potter have power over the clay?"
Yeah, you can do with it as he wills.
So then that would negate choice.
Well, let me ask you a question, Ruthless. You know what you asked? What I am. I would like to know what's your ideology? What Steel Man, your idiot.
It won't even matter at this point. We're getting somewhere that it won't actually get down to any ends of. People will give their perspectives. It won't change anything. Arguing about God won't change anything. Like I said, one of the deadly niches that gets into it that never gets anywhere because there's no ending to it. There's no answer to it. You'll get someone else's perspective, and it'll probably change next week. You'll get into your own perspective. It'll probably change next week. You'll get someone else coming in. No one ever really changes their mind. This is why I say this is one of the deadly niches that never really comes down to the answer, because the only way you'll ever know is to die. With that being said, guys, I'm going to end this episode out because I can see this going on for too long without any resolution whatsoever. Now, if the guys want to talk about this in the background, feel free to go do so. But the same way how I'm not going to drag along with it, it's the same way how I'm not going to have you guys drag along with it as well. With that being said, take care of yourselves. The next one, these are just my thoughts. Hopefully on the next episode, we'll have to take a little bit more meaty of a topic for you guys. But like I said, when shit starts falling along the same avenues, time to move on. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Take care of your loved one. Let me play a little music for you guys. There we go. Make sure you guys actually take care of yourselves, your families. Make sure that you get on your next ones, and I will see you on my next episode, which will probably be, I don't know, I'm gonna be off for the next couple of days, so we'll see what goes on from there. But until then, take care of yourselves. Like I said, take care of yourselves way too much. Anyway, stay opinionated. See you in the next one.